So it's 9 p.m. Obviously, you probably could tell I sound a little bit better than I did on Monday. Basically because I had like a 24-hour bug. Luckily, I do not no longer have a 24-hour bug. And we're here to talk a little bit of pro wrestling once again here on the Popcast Network. This is the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast. If you're new to the network, this is the show that we talk a little bit of everything. Now, on Monday, we basically talk all things Raw, everything about Monday Night Raw. Wednesday is when we get to let it all hang out and talk about all aspects of pro wrestling. We've got Smackdown and 205 Live for your WWE fans. We've got Impact Wrestling. We've got UFC for everyone that likes MMA. We've got WCPW, which I believe we're one of the only podcasts that even talks about what culture. We have NXT. We have Ring of Honor. We have New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're going to talk about Chikara. We're going to talk about the Indies. We're going to talk about Japan. And we're going to talk about British wrestling, because Ashley always brings up a lot of those aspects, too. We're talking Evolve tonight. We're talking all things in between tonight here on the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast. Welcome, Ashley.
Holy crap. I can't say I'm counting the days to Chikara because I don't know what the ticket prices are. Because if they suddenly come with like extortionate prices, it's like, well, bollocks. Chikaratopia exists for a reason then. Which, after what they revealed this week, I need to possibly re-sign that up.
Makes sense.
I let my one-off 3-month subscription run out, which means I don't get a free trial. Stuff that, because holy crap.
That's
weird.
Speaking of wrestling streaming, I'm about ready when I move to just get rid of the network and get New Japan World.
Whoa! What?
I'm very close to getting New Japan World when I move.
Just why don't you support? You've got to get the network to support like the shows that you do want to watch.
Right.
Like Next and 205.
Yes. And all the good original content that we're going to be discussing later tonight, actually.
I wouldn't let it lapse. Well, then again, you might get like 15,000 free months like they've been giving away to a load of people.
Indeed! Because I am a first-day subscriber to the network. I've never let it lapse. I've always paid on time, because obviously it comes out automatically. And I have almost nothing to show for it. And everybody else gets 3 months.
3 months. All those people that go for the 3 month and have 15 different accounts have suddenly got emails saying, by the way, do you want the network free for the next 4 months? Which means Royal Rumble free, Chamber free, Fastlane free, Takeovers free, Mania free, and probably some pay-per-view that Smackdown will do in April free. You do?
I mean, do you want the entire year of 2017 free? Because we have a way to make that happen for you.
It's not like those Netflix codes that supposedly stacked. The various things that I've seen, it's like, yeah, if you just get like 15,000 codes, they stack, and shit hits the fan, etc., etc.
Well, we got a lot to discuss tonight. Real quick, before we get started, I want to welcome Jeremy Mills in chat, as well as Logan, who made his debut on the Raw Popcast Monday night. So, yeah, it was nice having him aboard. We'll definitely have him back on soon. Pedro's not in chat yet, but I have been talking to him, and he should be making his debut on a wrestling podcast somewhere in the near future, too. Yeah, a lot of people want to talk wrestling with us, Ashley. Which is a good thing. So, I think we're going to start with our WWE section before we move on to WWE news later on tonight. Let's talk about what happened on Smackdown this week. So Ashley is not responding. This is very interesting. Hopefully everything's okay. Ashley, we're gonna talk SmackDown. Oh, he's on mute. Okay, so I'll give it to them. They had 4 matches on the show. He has to decide what he wants to do. There you go. Let's talk SmackDown, Ashley.
I wasn't sure.
Hang on, what are
we talking about first?
SmackDown, like we do every week.
Right. I wasn't sure whether the rig was working because it was stuck in limbo. Right. Here we open with interesting festivities. We can call it that. So, hang on. Scroll to the top. That's too far. So Brian makes his way out first.
Wow.
So why am I not hearing you over the fucking feed? That's confusing as fuck.
So
Daniel Bryan comes out.
Sorry, I'm muting
myself twice. But if I mute myself, then I can hear myself talking to myself.
You're good.
Confusing. Oh, now you're coming through on the fucking speakers. Shit. So Brian says, it's good to be back in Seattle. And he's grateful he had the opportunity to become SmackDown GM. Grateful to come to Seattle and give the fans the best show possible. And grateful that he's going to be a dad. So we're bringing that whole hashtag grateful shit back. Grateful too. Electric Boogaloo, motherfuckers. So here comes Miz and goes, it was a year ago. I don't know, was it a year ago this week?
I believe so.
Somewhere around then. Now, it's a year ago that Brian had to retire in his best droopy dog impression. You should just become a stay-at-home dad. Why are you here? Why are you even in a ring? And Daniel says, not being able to wrestle never stopped you from getting in the ring, Miz. Oh! And says, I like it because Miz is trying to cut it, but he's getting cut off by the crowd marking out for Brian. And Miz gets flustered about it. Like, well, you're not winning on Sunday, mate. You are not winning if you can't deal with this. And then, I remember what I need to do now. Quick. Where's the sounder? Where's the volume? Where's the actual sounder that I need? Where the fuck is it? So Baron comes out. Where the fuck is it? I actually not got that fucking sounder. Oh, there it is. I found it eventually. So Corbin comes out and says to Miz, look, you really need to learn when to shut up. You know what you do, Miz? You talk too much. I only play that because Matthew's already said I'm using the fucker.
Nice.
Miz is like, when I speak, people listen. And, if we work together in the chamber, we can dominate, eliminate everyone, and then best man win. And Baron says, what if I just take you out now so I don't have to hear you talking anymore? Then Dean comes to the ring and says, you and Baron look cute together, Miz. I can't take anything you say seriously, Miz, with what you're wearing. And Baron, you stole my motorcycle music. What?
Yeah, the beginning of his theme music.
Didn't they steal it from? Oh, what fucking song is it? It featured in Shoot 'Em Up. I should know what it is. Somebody in chat will say what the song was. It starts with the whole guitar sounding like a bike. I can't even remember. It was in the Shoot 'Em Up trailer and in the bloody film. I can't remember. Anyway, AJ comes out and says, is everybody done playing Ticklebutt?
What is that?
I don't know, but I somehow think, yeah, I was going to make a Pat Patterson joke, and I'll rescind that joke.
Are we talking about the Ace of Spades?
Oh, shit. No.
I'm looking at the Shoot 'Em Up soundtrack in front of me right now.
It was in the Shoot 'Em Up trailer. Oh. So AJ says, just now, buddy, I don't care about your scheme, Miz. I don't care that you're 7 foot tall, Baron, because you can't teach that. And then, of course, the crowd are cheering for him. Cheering for me, and it's like, no. And Daniel proposes that's it. Kickstart My Heart from Motley Crue.
Okay, here we go. That makes sense.
That both songs rip off that blatantly. So we start off with Fatal 4-Way action. AJ, Baron, Ambrose, and Miz. Pretty impressive opener, to be quite honest.
Solid stuff all across the board here.
Yeah. And then the really nice thing with basically Ambrose manages to hit a springboard moonsault and a reverse DDT, or AJ hits it on Ambrose, so that's Ambrose basically out. Miz then goes for the skull crushing finale after breaking up the pin, but the Styles hits an arm drag and goes for the phenomenal forearm, but Maurice makes the save for Miz. And then Corbin hits End of Days on AJ and gets the freak out. Holy shit.
They were serious about
Corbin
pushing
just
him.
got the biggest win of his career. Yeah.
Easily. They really are determined to do something with Corbin, and this is a great way to do it.
If he wins now, and it's Baron Corbin versus Randy Orton. Ha ha!
Oh, God. How many people are going to give their tickets away?
So now we've got Luke Harper somewhere and says that man is most dangerous when there's nothing left to lose. You know, but what about a man who never had anything to begin with? You know, Randy, you stole the family. You're a liar. You know, I've seen a snake in the grass for way too long, but I know how to fix it. Cut the head off the viper. It's just too easy. You know, I want to hurt you, Randy. I want you to feel pain. In the Elimination Chamber, you will be eliminated. What, Perry Saturn? Well, Perry Saturn was the Eliminators, wasn't he?
Yeah. Saturn and Cronus.
Yeah, I was trying to make sure. I had the... Didn't want to fuck it up.
Harper's great. I'm glad they're finally giving him some mic time.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Then we've got this. The whole Nikki Bella and Natalia in separate places, even though spoilers, by the time Talking Smack happens, they're in the same building.
Well, it makes sense given the fact Talking Smack was filmed earlier in the day.
Oh, it wasn't even filmed after SmackDown.
That's not possible because the dark match main event was Dean Ambrose against The Miz with
but
Daniel
that
Bryan
was
as the
after
ref.
205 Live.
Right.
That was after 205 Live.
When Talking Smack,
only about half an hour, isn't it?
Well, when Talking Smack was airing, the match was in the ring.
Oh,
so,
no. I know it isn't live, but I think they tape it during 205 Live.
Apparently, it's afterwards. Usually, it is live.
They air it afterwards.
But it's aired afterwards.
They air it afterwards. You'd have thought as well, we're in bloody Seattle. So everything they're doing is 3 hours ahead behind.
Correct.
So by the time it finished there at the venue, after the main event, it would only be like 8:30.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I don't think they've got anything going on tomorrow, so... Huh?
Jeremy says...
Anyway, Nikki says, look... Go ahead.
Jeremy says, he was talking about Kickstart My Heart. Yeah, it was the red band as well. Logan says, the Harper promo is better than any Roman Reigns one. Am I the only one who's more interested in the women's division on SmackDown than on Raw? No, not really. You're definitely not the only one.
No, and yes. That's the sad situation. What you need to do is amalgamate the two, and then it becomes a roster where it's like, I give a shit about it.
Once again, the women's title should have been kept on SmackDown. The tag belt should have been on Raw.
Yeah, no, and yeah, that's sort of the same thing. But yeah, the divisions are suffering because they're both lacking the stable.
Yep.
Paige and Paige and Summer Rae are the two injured at the minute on Raw.
Yeah.
Technically Emma, if she's back this week.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it.
Tamina is supposed to be coming back.
Tamina is actually, according to what they've been doing in house shows, Tamina's going to come back as a babyface on SmackDown.
Who knows? So, Nikki's like, me and Natty were good friends, but after everything that's happened, the Natty I knew is dead to me now. And Natty's like, don't worry, we were never friends. And Nikki's like, well, I have followers. Yeah. And then Natty says, no, you have people who work hard to make you look good. And Natty's like, when I win, I won't be able to, nobody will be able to cover up what I do to you. And, I don't know. It gets sort of basically into a cat fight. So much so that Nikki calls Natty a bitter, crazy cat lady. Can we please not fucking reference Teddy Hart, because then that's more ammunition for his fucking shoots.
It's not as bad as what Natty had to say to Nikki at the end of it. That line was ridiculous. If I wasn't married, John would probably want me. Poor TJ.
TJ, how do you fucking feel now?
I guarantee you, Natty didn't want to say that.
Trying to fuck over your career. You were the Jesse Sorensen of WWE.
Yeah, that's a really good comparison, actually.
That's a fucking shoot.
Yeah, it is.
So if that's the rate, within 2 years, Vince will be got rid of. And Vince Russo will be brought back. If we're going on the logic of TNA, We'll bring somebody back from like a decade or so ago at least to try and save the company.
Right.
And then ICW just comes in and goes, "Fuck you."
This is the reason I don't care. Okay, Logan, here's the thing that
like you'll be with your pregnant sister, realizing you won't have any children. It's like, what?
okay, there's the women's division, Logan, and then there's the divas division, and they're not the same thing, and they should never intercede ever.
Oh, you reminded me of that word because this fucking angle screams divas division.
That's the reason I said it the way I said it.
The shit we get later, well, it's not shit, but the stuff we get later on, that's actually verging more towards women's wrestling,
You're
not
correct.
divas wrestling. It's like the whole Nia Sasha shit. That is divas. The whole Charlotte Bailey thing is women's wrestling, but it's like probably like 50-50 between that and divas right now because of how that's being done. But whatever.
Weirdly enough, it's Sarah Stock.
Keep in mind, this also confirms what I said might happen last week in the fact that we're getting 3 women's matches on a SmackDown pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
When the fuck was SmackDown relabeled as Stardom? Seriously. So then we get Apollo Crews versus Dolph Ziggler, which is over in about 50 or so seconds with a roll-up from Apollo.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Ziggler gets a chair, smacks Apollo with it, smacks Kalisto with it. And the great thing is, keep in mind, Dolph Ziggler's heel. The crowd are going, time. Well, yeah, smack him in the head one more time. Like, well, smack him in the back. But whatever. Like, they want the heel to beat the shit out of people. That's good.
No one cares about Apollo. That's the problem.
Or Kalisto. Just the big problem.
No, they definitely don't care about Kalisto.
They don't give a fuck about Dragon Gate Japan.
No,
That's
not really.
Established. So Dolph's in the back and he's getting ready to leave. And Daniel's like, look, you need to stop having these bloody temper tantrums after all your matches when you lose. And Dolph's like, I didn't lose. They just caught me off guard. I can beat both of them. No sweat. Famous last words. Because Brian goes, oh, you can beat both of them? Right, Elimination Chamber. I don't know why the fuck this is happening.
Yeah, this is dumb.
Ziggler versus Kalisto and Cruz in a 2-on-1 handicap match.
I
If
don't
this
have
goes
words.
to a DQ, I will give this a standing ovation and interrupt us that AJ and Owen are watching by going, I fucking told you so.
Why? Why would...
Probably be at the same time, though, that they do like the in memoriam shit. So it's like, that is such bad taste.
This is more just stupid booking here. I mean, why would you have a why? Okay, 2-on-1 matches are usually so the heel can get an unfair advantage. You don't do baby faces in a 2-on-1. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Anyway, let's get to good shit with women.
Yes. Please.
Nikki and Alexa and Becky and Naomi come out for the dual contract signing. Because everybody's signing.
I like to refer to this segment as beautiful ladies that can work.
Because Kenny Omega's waiting to sign this week. And Mickey said, Renee's like 4 of the most elite athletes in the WWE were in action on Sunday. And part of me inside is going, well, probably 1.5. And the one of the 1.5 decided to fuck off to TNA because she wanted a country music album.
She was dressed very hardcore country on this promo for sure.
Yeah, as well. Shit. Mickey says, no, there's only 2 elite athletes, me and Alexa. I've got more experience than everyone in the ring combined. And I was like, that's pretty unfair. That table has experienced a fuck ton of shit over the years. The same table. Mickey's like, the entire women's division was built on my obsession. We're fucking referencing bloody. Oh, now I'm trying to. I'm doing all fucking references to songs that were in GTA. Who did Obsession? Fucking hell. That Obsession song from GTA. But yeah.
And Emotion.
That's it. My obsession to be the absolute best. All you're trying to do, Becky, is erase the past and take all the credit for the women's revolution. Well, it's like, well, let's be honest. After fucking Piggy James, I don't think we can consider her part of the women's revolution. I don't want you to remember that shit into a list, Blompier. Oh, well, it probably already has, but I don't think exactly about Mickey. And Mickey's waited for 7 long years. 7 years of rage that built up inside her to come to a WWE ring to get the credit that she deserves. So she did nothing in those 7 years fucking honest. Apart from get fucked over by the other company as well. And get fucked up by Magnus. And produce a baby.
Oh, wow.
Full credit to Magnus on that. Still question why the shit he was in that bloody 5-star wrestling tournament. But I've got a bone to pick on that 5-star wrestling tournament. We'll get to that. This Sunday I'll prove that not only did I create the women's revolution, but I created Becky. It's like, when the shit did Mickey James give birth to a ginger? That's all I'm asking. There would be no Becky Lynch. And the reinvention starts with the destruction of Becky. The Mickey signs, and Becky's like, I'm not trying to erase your accomplishments. I respected you until you joined forces with that little troll. And I'm like, not really a little troll. Bliss is more like a slut.
She does have troll
I'm guessing
hair.
You can't say that in PG era. I don't know. With the way the hair is, it's Harley Quinn. And then you immediately think slut. Because then you think Margot Robbie. And then you think, fucking hell, she was naked in Wolf of Wall Street. Everybody watch that shit.
No, I think chance, like I do every time we bring up Alexa Bliss.
Well, for you, yeah.
And someone that would know a lot better than I would even agreed with me on that.
Yes, reference that for only me and know it.
Shout out to a good friend of the Popcast Network.
Yeah, 7 years of rage. When it got tough, you walked away. But when I've had it tough, I've walked through it, and I'm going to walk through you, Mickey, and slap you back into the past to play the shitty games that suck ass.
I knew there was going to be a James Ralph reference there.
I don't know why I did a fucking angry video game nerd reference, but what the hell?
Walking Dead, 23.
So then Alexa says, oh, don't worry, Becky, you're all class. Low class. Mickey beat Trish at WrestleMania 22. It's like, I'm pretty sure that isn't all she fucking did. Because, again, the only thing I remember from WrestleMania 22, not that Mickey won, it was Mickey won after licking air vagina.
Yep.
That's all I remember. Thanks, Bell Communications.
Don't forget about the botch. The finish was even botched because she did Stratisfaction and she botched it.
I forget about that because they sort of edited that out of the edited version without the lick as well.
You are correct.
Double edited. That was sneaky. They had an excuse to edit it because it's like, oh, she licked air vagina, when it was like, nah, she fucked up the finish. All that runs through Becky's veins is cheap, toxic orange hair dye. Why didn't she say something like Orangina, like product placement, and let Orangina be really fucking pissed? Or something. Sunny D.
Sunny D is good stuff.
Yeah, but it's got that sort of toxic orange color where it's like nothing is that orange. Even oranges are going, I do not want to be associated with that shit. What is up with that color? It's like an orange has had a suntan. Anyway, this is carried on for too long. So then Naomi's comes, basically goes, oh, everybody should forget about me? No. I've already beaten you twice. And then immediately I'm going, oh, wait, we're doing the fucking Bailey Charlotte storyline again. Except we're doing it 2 weeks after it happened on Raw. Yeah, that won't be long in the memory of people. Oh, wait, it fucking will. So then there was a 4-woman brawl. Who knows?
Why was Naomi the only one wearing gear here?
Yeah. Well, she wanted to wrestle. Because she's whoop whoop. Imagine if Naomi was with Samoa Joe. Whoop whoop Samoa Joe.
Oh my god.
God damn it, that can't happen now. So now we get the clusterfuck of the 12-man tag. American Alfalfa, Slater and Notigator, and Interpol.
Well, it's okay. It's not Razor Ramon Hardgay. It's not Chips. Now they're just the fashion police.
It's Interpol. Yes, I'm doing a Zoolander 2 reference.
Yeah, kind of.
It's Interpol Fashion Division. Taking on not true Samoans, boo the fuckers.
Usos. Samoan Young Bucks.
Steampunk. As in, they never get a win in their career. And I don't know, Connor and Victor. I have to say it properly because it's like, holy fuck. Victor fucking wins. What?
Hold on.
I swear, the only reason we actually did that finish was to make it look like there's a credible contender for Alpha. Because I look through that list, and none of the fuckers are.
Well, I can actually get into that real quick. So that match, that win from the Ascension, is the first time they won since September.
Wow, what 4 or 5 months then?
The Ascension worked with the Usos, and they defeated American Alpha and Heath Slater and Rhino on September 26th. In addition, the Vaudevillains, being on that team also, haven't won a match since June 6th, defeating Enzo and Cass.
That doesn't count. They didn't get the pinfall.
They still were a part of the finish. They still part of the winning team.
Technically.
So technically, yes. Good, I can knock that news off for the rest of the show. That's good.
Technically, but fuck.
Logan said Ascension was the highlight of the night for me. I think it was the highlight of the night for them, too.
Yeah, I think it was the highlight of their fucking career. It's like, they put us fucking over? We've been here for 18 months. And finally we get to do shit? What?
I mean, I would have put Fandango and Breeze over myself because it's me. But if a heel team had to go over, yeah. I mean, Simon got.
Heel team.
Yeah, they're definitely a heel team.
So why were they teamed up with the faces? It's because nobody else fucking fit.
They weren't teamed up with the faces. It was face versus heel. Somehow, some way, because for some reason, Fandango and Breeze are now babyface.
Yeah.
Don't know when that happened, but I support it.
No. And then, you know, the thing is that really started badly and then actually built to something that was actually pretty interesting by the end. And then Cena versus Orton. I mean, what do you expect? It's going to be a good match because they faced each other, what? Probably like at least 70 times.
Yeah.
2000 and... Would it have been 2006 when they sort of first went at each other?
Yeah.
Around that time.
I mean, it was the battle of the original OVW.
Yeah. So,
this match got less than 15 minutes.
Yeah. So Wyatt gets involved towards the end and hits Sister Abigail on Cena because there's a good old ref bump. But then Harper shows up and Wyatt's like, Luke, you better leave. And Harper leaves. But then hits the discus clothesline on Wyatt. And Orton's like, I'm going to fucking RKO you. Harper pushed him away, straight into Cena. Attitude adjustment, and Cena wins. So, yeah. Do you note something that happened on this fucking show? Orton wrestled.
Right.
Cena wrestled. AJ wrestled. Miz wrestled. Ambrose wrestled. Corbin wrestled. Who didn't wrestle? Other than Harper.
Who didn't wrestle? Of course not.
Bray didn't wrestle. Ladies and gentlemen, your new WWE champion. Fucking finally. I mean, I think that's why they let him rest, because he's going to be doing some crazy spots.
Yeah, I'd say so.
They probably let him rest because when he has to do the walk things, it probably fucks up his back.
Good God. Jeremy Mills has some stats here in chat. 315 matches with Cena and Orton. 84 pay-per-view TV matches. 120 times the matches happen.
What about one-on-one though? That's what I'm interested in. If we can get the stats for that.
Curious how many times they face
probably
off an OVW.
Around the 40, I'd have thought.
I'd say so.
At least. But yeah, I'd have thought it would have started late. Yeah, late. No, it would have been 2007, wouldn't it? Because you had Rated RKO of Edge and Orton taking on Michaels and Cena.
Right.
Because it was the whole, picked himself up at New Year's Revolution. So yeah, overall, for a go-home show, SmackDown actually fucking delivered.
See, that's the annoying thing. Raw hasn't been able to figure out how to do go-home shows.
Nope.
What? I'm confused what he's saying. Okay. 2002, 1 match. 2005, 1 match. 2007, 4 matches. 2008, 3 matches. 2009, 5 matches. No, 52 matches. No, 5 matches. 2010, 2 matches. 2011, 0. 2012, 0. 2013, 1. 2014, 3. I hope I read that correctly, Jeremy, because that's a lot of really odd writing.
It feels like 40. That says a lot. It feels like 40. It was probably only about 20.
Most likely. But yeah, they gave. Okay, let's think of the intelligence it takes to, even though we know it's not the WrestleMania main event and it's not going to be the WrestleMania event, you gave the WrestleMania main event away on SmackDown and gave it 15 minutes. Not even 15 minutes. Actually, not even 14 minutes. That's insane.
How the fuck is Mania going to go 4 hours this year?
I don't even want to think about it. Is that bad?
If it went like 5, God knows how many hours last year, that's not even including the pre-show. So that was verging on what? Oh, that was 4.5 hours, I think, wasn't it? And then you had the pre-show shit. I don't know how they're going to fill not even 4.5 hours, but 4 hours with the card that they've got set up.
I mean, they've got 10 matches booked right now, and then there's a lot of things that haven't been officially thrown in there yet that they could use for pre-show matches. I say, if I had to guess, 12 to 14 matches on the whole show. Plus, don't forget, I have a feeling we're going to get a Pitbull performance, too. That wouldn't shock me at all.
And the Hall of Fame parade.
Yeah, that too. And whatever Dwayne's doing.
Forgot. Well, he's making a movie.
Yeah.
Dumb fuck. I'll get to. No, but I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the new.
Oh no! I've got that news. It's later tonight. Don't worry.
I know.
And there's more than you probably know too. Because some new information broke today on it.
Monsieur Dave was teasing something. Has Monsieur Dave delivered?
Yep. I'll get to that.
Yes, good.
We'll talk about that tonight. Don't worry. I got that information. We're good.
Let's fucking mark out about 205 actually live.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about one of the best wrestling shows that most people aren't watching.
So,
hold on.
Fucked himself up last night.
Yeah. Well, real quick before we go, I don't want to not mention what Jeremy put in here because I know he put a lot of stuff in. It's 12-7. Cena's win-loss over Orton. 1 no contest. So I want to mention that. Yeah, Nice messed himself up. Don't really know much about what happened. He's
fucking abs.
Yeah, his abs got hurt. I mean, unlike Matt Cross, who broke his leg, so.
Did you see what happened on Twitter?
I saw the picture of the broken leg, and it said he walked in and he had a broken leg.
No, not that one. The wrong person.
Perhaps.
Bloody British wrestler Jimmy Havoc tweeted, "My
Oh, yeah.
son's got a lot of issues. Can you help him out by buying a T-shirt?"
I did see Jimmy Havoc trying to get merch money. That was a great idea.
No, but it was. I think it was no, but it was plugging to Son of Havoc's thing. It was Jimmy basically saying that Matt Cross is his son. He's about 15 years older, at least. Hell, Matt Cross was in Wrestling Society X.
I know, and we had a nice conversation about WSX last week on the show.
Yeah. So, because the abs of Nice are injured, we've got to have a special qualifier match with the winner to fight later in the night. So it's the match that Donald Trump loves to hate. It's Daivari versus Mustafa Ali. We're officiated by Sami Zayn.
I'm not touching that. So,
jokes aside, damn good match.
Really good. They gave it about 6 minutes. Really let it work out. Daivari got the heat for a while. Good stuff there. And then he got a lariat for a near fall. And Ali came back. Hit whip for the imploding 450. Ali ended up getting the pin off of that. So it worked really well. It was a decent match. Daivari looked great in this match. I've not seen Daivari look this good in a while, honestly. I mean, he was the one that came off looking like a star in this match. I know Ali was the one that was supposed to get over here, and he did. But I think Daivari came off looking great here. He's definitely somebody that not enough people put any faith in or anything on at all, because he had a really good showing here. He's somebody that they're kind of like glossing over. He's not one of the ones they normally mention. To be honest, this probably should have been Gulak's spot, but it wasn't. I mean, he really proved that he belonged in this match, and I thought it worked quite well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was good stuff.
He's in.
Yeah, so Daivari's now in.
Hype for Grand Metalik, which should be good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him showing up.
So now backstage with fucking was this was the Dasher one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh no, because Dasher was with I can't remember. All I remember is Kendrick's basically there. You know, I'm the gatekeeper.
Who's the keymaster?
Anytime they send in the dross, yeah, I sort the wheat from the chaff. It could be upstarts or legends. But there is one exception. Akira Tozawa, and sees a lot of potential in that kid. And I'm like, Tozawa must be close to your age.
Very true.
To some extent, because Kendrick started fucking young. He sees a lot of potential in Tozawa and hopes that he's watching. And if you play things right, you could be Brian's protege. And I'm like, you've already got one, mate. It's called Eva Marie. Your career's fucked. Speaking of fucked, Kendrick versus Lindsay Dorado. Yeah,
Lindsay Dorado is kind of he's an afterthought, which is a shame because he's actually really good. He had a decent match here, and he actually got some good shine in this match. He went for the shooting star, and Kendrick got the knees up, and he went right to the captain's hook and quick tap out. I mean, it was good for what it was. It was very short. But, I mean, Lindsay Dorado has been very, like, wishy-washy in his performances. I mean, he's basically using the lethal combination now, but instead of using the layout, he's doing the sit out, so a stunner instead of knee scratcher. And I like how he's using that, and I like how they set it up. And then later on in this segment, I think Brian Kendrick gets one of the best things I've seen on 205 Live, and that's his sell of the mist, but we'll get to that in a minute. Austin Aries comes out for the interview.
Yeah, Aries comes away from the table and asks Brian about, all the new faces other than Tozawa, and Brian says, look, they're nothing but rubbish, not deserving of a chance. Tozawa, though, he's something special. He and Akira have formed a bond. And so Kendrick says, Tozawa, come out. I want to speak to you. So then Tajiri's music plays, and Kendrick's looking at the Tron like, come on, I want you. And then I guess the Tron switches to like the live camera feed,
Right.
which points out that Tajiri's run in and is right behind him. And Kendrick's got like a face of, oh shit, but also, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like at the same time, it's like both, oh, you're gonna die, and also I'm gonna die. Like,
this sell was brilliant.
It's misted.
I love this very much. And this is going to be real fun in the meantime, too.
And then dashes with Neville. As we established that, I think they didn't establish this at all until pretty late on. I think they actually mentioned it during the opening match. This 5-way is an actual eliminator match.
Right.
Bit confusing. But, Neville's asked, and Neville's like, the winner gets an opportunity to stand across the ring from the king. It's only a moment. Then you're out of your depth when that bell rings. TJ, I've crushed his dreams before. I'll do it again. Jack Gallagher, he's an embarrassment to England. Sorry, Marty Skull. That's what I think of you. Mustafa Ali's reminds him of himself 10 years ago. I'm like, wait, Mustafa Ali's pack? Cedric can only hope to be a threat if he gets his head into shape and focuses. And Noam Dar can barely steal Alicia Fox! So what chance does he have of stealing the king's crown? Whoever wins, they will stand across from me, my inferior, and will bend their knee and pay their respect to the cruiserweight king. So then the 5-way eliminator.
This was really good. Really, really good.
Yeah. No. Yeah, shall we mention the fucking start?
Go ahead.
The bell's ringing. And the fucking lights go off.
Yep.
And then come back on. I'm like, fucking Undertaker's, there's going to be a 6-way? Because I'm not so he's into 205 rated. Oh. I was getting excited. And they fucking ruined it. The bastards. Anyway.
This was really good.
Pretty even congested, if you can call it that, for the first bit, but Noam eventually is eliminated first with a lumbar check from Alexander. Dar, I guess, hangs around.
He does.
After a bit, he manages to crotch Alexander when the referee isn't looking. And then TJ hits the detonation kick on Cedric, so
Well,
those two are gone.
Well, before we go, I'm not letting you just go with that. There's a couple of things that have to be mentioned here. I want to talk about a couple of the really good spots we saw here. We got Jack Gallagher did the Mary Poppins, the umbrella dive again, and the great thing is, right after he lands, you see the umbrella just kind of float off camera and roll up the aisleway. I thought that was great. Cedric hit the C4. I thought that looked really good on Mustafa Ali. And I guess he took to Twitter and is asking for a name for that move, so it looks like he's going to start using it. I can't let that not happen.
So then Perkins makes Mustafa Ali tap out to a cross arm breaker. So we're down to the fake Marty Scroll versus Suicide. Or should I say Manic? And these two had a pretty good back and forth, and then holy shit, Gallagher wins with a running drop kick. And fuck Tyler Bates. We've got a British Championship match on Fastlane. Yay! And that's how we end 205 Live. In impressive fashion, sending the fans home pissed happy. Probably.
Happy Gallagher won. Thought they were going to give it to Cedric. The thing about Cedric is Cedric has a more flashy finisher, but Gallagher is over with everyone because if you notice, the people that were in the building, they were hot for this match. Big time. And probably more so than nearly any match in 205 Live history. Like there were people that left, don't get me wrong, because that happens every week, but the people that were there and stuck around, they were loud and they were really into the match. So that was a good thing, and that's the reason Gallagher won. And it makes perfect sense that he did, and he is right now the main baby face of the roster when it comes to it right now. Because no matter how much they push TJP, he's not going to be as over as Gallagher is. Yeah, it was good stuff, though. We moved from 205 Live to Impact Wrestling.
Open fight night.
Yep.
Which means it's clusterfuck time. So here come the Hardys. And Matt goes, it's our destiny to win tag team titles again and again and again and then so on. To become the greatest tag team in all of space and time. Surely they've already fucked that up because the Rock and Roll Express are already in the Hall of Fame. Before then. Who knows? But yeah, they'll be going on an international quest because there were many teams that didn't have the courage to show up at Total Non-Stop Deletion, including the Bucks of Youth, the Day of New, and the family of Wyatt. And if they won't come to the Hardys must go to them. And Brother Nero comes out, well, turns it over to Brother Nero, who's with him, obviously, and says, at least for tonight, I want to step back into the solo dimension because my challenge with my briefcase is I'm challenging Bobby Lashley to a world title fight. And we get Lashley versus Jeff Hardy, which pretty good. Pretty solid. Finish comes with Hardy going for his Swanton bomb to the floor, but Lashley rolls under the ring. Nice little touch. It's like he actually just went under. I guess Lashley throws Nero into the ring after he's recovered, spears him, and Lashley retains. So I guess we're back on the tag titles, guys. But then Eddie comes out, and Eddie says, "Look, I'm not here to fight. I want to tell you to your face that congrats, and congrats on retaining the title." And Lashley likes, well, it's about time that you recognize how great I am. And Eddie goes, look, considering you're a fighting champion, I want a rematch. And Lashley goes, well, considering that I had to jump through hoops to get my rematch, I think it's only fair that you don't get a title match yet. So Eddie calls him Bitch Boy Bobby.
That thing started as a chant, and I guess they're going to roll with it because people won't stop chanting it.
And Lashley goes, all right, one chance. But if you don't win, you go to the back to play with the kids, and you won't ever get another shot at the big boy title. And Eddie's like, I only need one shot. And I'm like, you're not fucking John Wick. Seriously. And then Tyrus is saying, man, you won't believe who we're going to challenge because me and Eli are going to shock the world. The fucking Shockmaster! So apparently last week on Impact's Facebook page, they put up a video with Rosemary offering Brandy a chance to join JK.
Right.
And Rosemary finds her and Brandy's like, look, we're never going to be friends. And I have no clue, what you're thinking about trying to get me and Rosemary's like, shh, we have so much potential. You just need my guide. It's one last chance.
Nice choice of words.
Inevitable. Or on our offer together, and Brandy just pushes away. Leave me alone. And Rosemary, like, you obviously decided to do this the hard way. But he decides when it's over, not you, Brandy. So Aaron and Spud show up in a golf cart with a striped carpet. Okay. So then we've got Brooke Tessmacher versus Sienna, which Sienna wins not clean because Maria distracts the referee in some shape or form. Because, Brooke basically goes to the top rope for a spot, but Maria shoves her down back into the ring and Sienna hits her with the silencer. It wasn't really more like a silencer. It was more like a pounce.
That makes sense.
I think she nearly ended. I think she's in Back to the Future. She got hit that hard. So now we've got the DCC backstage, and Storm says, "Oh, you're going to find out who we're cashing it in on." And Target, it's on everyone's back, and it's time to make the call. Yeah, it's a day in the life of Aaron Rex. So it's like, I hate confrontation. So Spud kicks his makeup artist out and talks about how he loves Don Lemon. Aaron Rex, everybody, left for WWE because he didn't want to be a gimmick. Fucked now. Fucked, I tells you. So here's the DCC in the ring. It says, me, Bram, and Eddie are the three men that run this place. We don't get paid by the hour. We're in the ass kissing business. Ass kicking business. Probably kissing as well. Storm, I don't know why he went back, but whatever. So they challenged Decay to a Falls Count Anywhere fight. So it's 3-on-2. And all that shiznit. The DCC win with an interesting finish. I think it was a leaping Enzuigiri, and then it was like a combination spike pole driver with him and Bram through like the table at ringside.
Off the apron?
I mean, it was weird. Yeah. There were barbed wire bumps and tacks as well. So I was like, this is where we need to establish whether Falls Count Anywhere actually means that Falls Count Anywhere or is an excuse for a street fight. Because it's getting a bit confusing now. Galloway's backstage, and I guess he's defending the title next. Except he isn't, because it's Mike and Maria talking to Braxton over his date. And then Maria tells Braxton, oh, by the way, you're going to propose to Laurel Van Ness. Like, what? And Braxton's like, I won't do it. And Maria says, you know what will happen to Ali if you don't? And, Laurel does like a princess cut diamond. And I'm like, what? And Mike's like, lighten up, Braxton. Good to have one on your side. And besides, I'm going to throw you a fucking giant bachelor party. I'm just like, what? Seriously. Fuck this storyline. In more
You can
ways
blame
than 72.
You can blame Madison Rain for it. She's basically the one that did this.
Oh, it's actually her fault. Well, as fucking dumb as I thought. Good to know. So Galloway comes into the ring and says, I made a big statement when I said I'd make the grand title, the grand championship bigger than the world championship. And people aren't sold on the belt yet. It's because I was hurt before the finals and I came back and took the title, and now it's trying to truly bring prestige to it. So here comes Moose. And he's like, look, I gave you the benefit of the doubt the first time you kicked me in the nuts, but doing it again? Oh, it's mine. And Drew's like, no, we don't want Drew versus Moose part 73. And I'm going, when the fuck did the other 70 happen? Seriously. But there's somebody backstage that requested a title shot, and he's already accepted. So Moose should bugger off. Because Drew Galloway's taking on Rob Rising. What makes me think this is a fucking dig at Triple H?
We've seen Rob Rising many times before.
Yeah, but the fact that it's Rising.
I mean, the guy's been in the business. Oh God, he's been in the business for a while. He's only 30 years old. Okay, he's been in the business for 9 years.
Yeah, Rising. That's the main factor, I would argue. So, Galloway wins with a future shock. Pretty much like within about 30 to 40 seconds, if that. So now Hurricane Helms is backstage with Trevor Lee in the briefcase. And Helms is like, Trevor's issuing his challenge next. And guess what? They are in the ring next. And they go, well, since we blew out your knee last week, DJZ, we want an X Division title match, but not just any title match. Ladder match! Yes! Unsurprisingly, with the injury and with the help of Helms, who very sort of put together 6 spots with Helms throwing a chair to Trevor Lee and smashes and uses the chair to hurt DJ's knee further. And then Trevor puts the ladder over Zima's bad leg to the top, grabs the belt, and new champ, motherfuckers. Trevor Lee is champion. This is what happens when you let the X Division be the X Division.
Exactly.
Easily. So now Titus and Eli Drake backstage. And Tyra says, look, if you think you know what Eli's going to do, don't worry. He's not. Greatest surprise challenge match is going to be happening after this commercial break. And at this point, I'm going, does he seriously think he's on Fox News still? I don't know what the shit's up with this. So now Day in the Life of Aaron Rex is going on again. Except it's interrupted by Robbie E, who challenges Rex to a fight. And Rex says, don't worry, we'll do it next week because I need time to prepare. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. And then Robbie's like, all right. And Rex says, get the Perrier water, Spud. So Tyrus and Eli. That'd be fucking hilarious. In the ring, Tyra says, you won't be hearing from Eli tonight since the fans don't know how to behave. We've got the best briefcase in the world. And the challenge, it's going to be my pick because Tyrus handpicked it. Now I see their challenge is Eli Drake and EC3. EC3 limps out. And not even like in proper wrestling gear, and it's like, better show the ladies your abs, EC3. So he takes his shirt off and there's a giant bruise, attacks him. So we didn't see it coming, and it's like, well, apparently this feud is never going to fucking end. But EC3 wins with a jackknife roll-up. So Drake is livid because basically Tyrus doesn't help that much. Grabs his bat, comes back into the ring, smacks EC3 in the ribs with it, keeps going after him, then gets angry at Tyrus for setting the match up. And then the DCC show up. Smile at Drake and Tyrus, attack EC3, then attack Drake and Tyrus. So I'm going, wait, who the fuck am I supposed to care about? Because at the minute, no fucking clue. And that's how SmackDown goes, kids.
Smackdown.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I was watching a good show. It's annoying, you know. Some of the stuff that happened in this is good, but the whole knockout stuff at the minute is being treated stupid because there's too much emphasis on Maria, who doesn't even wrestle, and we've already seen that when she does, fucking terrible at it. The Hardys only care about tag team gold, which they've already got, so nothing else matters. The thing that's building with the whole Eddie and Davey feud would have been good had they not taken the direction that we know it's going, because we've read that, well, at least I've read the spoilers. I'm not a fan of that.
Considering the
And
fact
then
that
just randomly DCC just trying to hijack the show at the end, which just seems a bit of an odd fit.
well, considering the fact that we spoiled the entire run of tapings for 2 shows, I would say that, yeah.
Good.
Well, now we get to the segment on the show that I usually have absolutely no stock in, and that is UFC.
Yufka. So, the past weekend, not too bad. Fight night show. Apparently, did really well in terms of box office, or in viewership, certainly on Fox Sports 1.
Right.
Which I guess it was helped because Fox was showing the Super Bowl as well, I think. Because it was their turn. So Fox pretty much had the weekend sorted for sporting shenanigans. And most impressively, Korean Zombie, after being out for a couple of years, won midway through the first round. So he's certainly in form with his uppercut and punch and knockout. Also on the main card, Felice Herrig beat Alexa Grasso, unanimous decision. A Darcy choke submission. Early on in the third round, gave James Vick the win over Abel Trujillo. Volkan Ozdemir beat Ovin Sempru via split decision. Marcel Fortuna beat Anthony Hamilton with a KO punch midway through the first. And then a unanimous decision with Jessica Andrade beat. On the prelims, we had Curtis Blades beat Adam Milstead via TKO, which was a knee injury, so it was an actual proper sort of TKO. Rear naked choke submission victory for Chaz Skelly over Chris Grutzmacher. Ricardo Ramos beat Mishinori Tanaka on unanimous decision, and another unanimous decision went to Tessia Torres over Beck Rawlings. And on the preliminary card, Nico Prince beat Alex Moreno with a punch right at the end of the second round. And Khalil Roundtree beat Daniel Jolly with a hefty old, with only about a minute gone, roughly. In terms of the bonuses, fight of the night went to Andrade versus Hill, so both get 50,000. And the performances went to Marcel Fortuna for his one punch knockout midway through the first. And Korean Zombies knockout as well also got him 50,000. In terms of what's coming up this week, pay-per-view time. At the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. On the Fight Pass card, we've got Marcin Tybura versus Justin Willis in the heavyweights, Ryan LaFleur versus Ryan Canario in the welterweights, and Philippe Nova taking on Rick Glenn in the featherweight division. Then on the prelim card, a couple of flyweight fights with Ian McCall versus Jared Brooks and Wilson Reese versus Oka Sasaki. Also a lightweight bout with Nick Lentz versus Islam Makhachev. And the main event of the prelim card, Randy Brown versus Belal Muhammad. And then the main pay-per-view card, in the lightweights, we've got Dustin Poirier versus Jim Miller, Glover Teixeira versus Jared Cannonier in the light heavyweights, 2 middleweight fights with Ronaldo Souza versus Tim Botch and Anderson Silva versus Derek Bronson. Silva's apparently hinted that he wants another match with Bisping, apparently, if he wins. Or if he loses, who the hell knows. And the main event, to crown the first ever women's featherweight champ, it's Holly Holm versus Jermaine de Randamie. Now, I guess the interesting shit is good old Cyborg looks like she might be getting banned again, basically for, I don't think it was performance-enhancing stuff. I think it was just the fact that she keeps missing weight all the time, which is always good. I mean, it isn't, but we might as well give an excuse that it is. You know, it's looking more and more like you are never going to see Cyborg in the UFC properly ever. Let me just have a quick look at this. So yeah, because basically they created this division to try and get Cyborg to be part of the 145-pound featherweight division, but apparently she submitted a positive test for what Cyborg identified as a banned diuretic. So that's why she got replaced. Originally supposed to be Holm versus Cyborg. It was just never advertised like that because I guess they knew that early that it wasn't happening. Wow. So there is the possibility that Cyborg could have a 1-year ban. I think the phrase we're looking for is "you stupid fucking bitch." What are you actually doing? In terms of other stuff, I'm trying to hopefully actually get the web browser to fucking work. Have a quick look at the daily data for the MMA stuff, just in case there's anything come in today. Try and stay recent. Oh, this is a big one then. Hollywood Reporter has broken the news that Spike TV might be getting rebranded as the Paramount Network, with an announcement expected within the next few hours, Thursday morning. Spike TV is home to Bellator and used to be obviously a partner with TNA, WWE, and UFC back in the day. But it isn't known what a rebrand could mean for Bellator's place on the channel yet. But Spike's male-orientated programming schedule really has geared itself towards wrestling and MMA, so who knows? And that looks to be the major bit of it anyway.
All right. We move on to WCPW.
Which is somewhat of a short one, because there was only one new match as part of the loaded stuff. Evilise and El Ligero versus Prospect, which was an okay match, probably helped by the fact that King Ross was on commentary. Kenny seemed a bit clueless, though, I will say that. The key factor that went on throughout this, though, was Gracie was infatuated by Evilise. And, refused to hit her, tried to come on to her. But there was even a spot that Archer went for the worm, but then Gracie tagged himself in because he didn't want Evilise to get hurt. There was another bit where he went for it on El Ligero, but El Ligero just basically got out of the way pretty easily. And Archer just slammed them out. And then the finish came with Gracie one-on-one with Evilise, but refusing to hit a woman. So instead gets down on her knee and proposes. Evilise slaps him, which he seems to be like, that's fair enough. But not in a like, it hurt me, in a sort of like, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then get a giant spinning kick and gets the 3 count. And the match was won by El Ligero, Evilise, and Evilise's baby that was inside her. I guess. Considering like 4 days later was taped, she suddenly went, I'm pregnant. So if any of you look, she clearly wasn't in the right shape because, you know, her belly was sort of hanging out like Lady Gaga's was at the halftime, you know, thing. Like, you might want to take that back because she was fucking pregnant. So this Sunday is True Destiny, and it's a pretty ridiculous card to some extent.
I really want to watch this show.
So we've got a sort of preview of the World Cup as they're advertising it, because it's Drago versus Penta El Zelo Miedo, the former Pentagon. So yeah, we're getting a Lucha Underground match, give or take. Certainly a AAA style Lucha match anyway. For the women, we've got Bea Priestley versus Tessa Blanchard. The more and more I'm wondering, is Nixon ever going to come back because of the WWE deal?
Probably not.
Who knows? A rematch from Lights Out in Travis Banks versus Zack Sabre Jr. Should be very fun. The I Quit match between Rampage and Primate. Match 5 in the best of 7 series. We've got the Moss and Slater Open Challenge ladder match for the tag belts. Then the world titles on the line, the rematch between Champ Galloway and Joe Hendry after that weird fucking finish from last week. And then the 2 big ones, the rematch between Ospreay and Ricochet, and then the first and probably last time ever, this is Alberto El Patron. Kurt Angle's last match, at least we know of, in the UK.
Yeah. It's a big show.
Oh, fucking Sam Roberts is going to be on the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Yes!
Yes.
This SmackDown brand fucking rules. Fuck Peter Rosenberg. Who the fuck is that cunt?
No one knows. Well, no, obviously people know who he is. It's just, yeah, he's just kind of there. He's the Dave Bradshaw to King Ross.
Hang on. Who we comparing there?
Dave Bradshaw and King Ross.
No, because I like Dave Bradshaw and I like King Ross. You meant Alex Shane. It's Peter Rosenberg.
There we go.
That's what you meant. And of course, it's apparently just Stryker and Jim Ross doing commentary. Alex Shane's been fired. Yes. Yes. Fuck yes. Oh.
Well, we go from What Culture to NXT.
Oh, well, I'll grab my dinner because you actually watched all this stuff. It was glorious and that shit.
Good stuff here. Nigel's officially on commentary for the first night on NXT, which is good. I don't have a problem with Percy Watson on commentary. He's okay for what he is. I mean, he's definitely better than David Otunga.
Not fucking Nigel.
So we start off the show with Sanity versus the Bollywood Bucks. I mean, the young boys. I mean, just use your comparison. Gervin Harshire and the Bollywood boys. They take on Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf. Basically, it was a 1-on-2 handicap match because Alexander Wolf did absolutely nothing in this match but warm the apron. Various things that were hit in this match. Take notes, authors of pain. This is how you powerbomb someone safely onto someone else. He hit the back senton after the wasteland, and then he stacked the Sierra brothers on top of each other and hit a big elbow drop, like Sudanese meat cleaver style. And then he ended up finishing off the Bollywood boys with the Ulster Plantation. So a quick 2.5-minute match. So then we get Nikki Cross, completely beside herself, screaming, "I want Asuka, I want Asuka, I want Asuka." Eric Young gets on the mic, basically says at TakeOver, he humbled Ty Dillinger. And obviously, since he won't join them, he's going to pay for it. We get our next match. It is Liv Morgan versus Billie Kay. It was okay. I heart Peyton Royce. Everyone knows that. Some decent stuff here. Billie Kay with a hot shot. And basically she gets the heat for a while. Heel miscommunication leads to an O'Connor roll, which was somewhat botched. And Liv Morgan wins. Because for some reason they got to build her up because there's really not many baby faces in the women's division currently. Ty Dillinger is having an interview backstage, I believe it was with Kayla, and then all of a sudden he gets jumped by Sanity. So they fight into the actual building itself. So it was funny because at one point, if you go the opposite side of where they are, you basically have like a student commissary area in Full Sail. So it might have been entertaining if they would have went the wrong way, but they went into the crowd. They fought back into the building, and here comes Roderick Strong and No Way Jose for some dumb reason to make the save. And that leads to a 6-man for the main event. We find out Nakamura will not need surgery, so great selling from Nakamura to get a lot of people to believe that he was really hurt after the match against Bobby Roode. We get the Revival taking on Heavy Machinery. This is the first time we've seen a full Heavy Machinery match since the Dusty Classic. Decent stuff here. Revival get the blind tag. Otis gets sent to the floor. And DDT by Scott Dawson gets the win. It was okay for what it was. They get on the mic after the match is over. DIY never should have been tag champions because the authors destroyed them. The Revival have carried tag team wrestling on their backs, and they want to face the authors at TakeOver. So here comes the authors to the ring. Revival powders. And then they jump the authors one last time, and they bomb out to a pop from the crowd. So yeah, way to turn the Revival somewhat babyface. I don't have a problem with that, because I can, just like the Vaudevillains were back in the day in Full Sail, the Revival are over as faces. So regardless if they're being booked as faces, I think they're finally going to put them in the right direction. And I think that UCF TV taping that is being held at the end of this month is probably going to make this a 3-way with DIY at TakeOver Orlando, which makes me happy because obviously I'll be there. We get a video package on both Tyler Bate and Trent Seven, leading to what people that were in the building, including a lot of friends of mine, saying was one of the better matches they've seen in a long time. They tore the house down, so we get Tyler Bate and Trent Seven next week for the United Kingdom Championship. Who said the UK title will be defended on NXT? I did, and it made perfect sense to me. Bobby Roode comes out for his celebration. He's like, I'm not the one to say I told you so, but, I told you so. And he poses with the title. He says he's on a completely different level than anybody else. And he said, you know what? Nakamura did run wild for a decade in Japan and even for a year in NXT, but then he ran into Bobby Roode. And I took everything he had, and he still couldn't get the job done. Now NXT has a man who you can respect, a man who walks, looks, and talks like a champion. He says it's not we are NXT because this is Bobby Roode's NXT, and it will simply be glorious.
Pyro.
Yes, do the pyro.
That pyro was like, holy shit.
And that building,
like, I am stealing that.
Well, considering how small that building is, I'm sure that building probably smelled for quite a bit after that pyro. We get our
fire alarm went off.
Wouldn't be shocking. Main event time: Sanity versus Dillinger, Strong, and Jose. I don't know why No Way Jose's in this match. I understand he's over with the crowd. That's the only thing I can think of. If this would have been EY and Killian Dane versus Roddy and Dillinger, I think it would have been a lot better match overall. But Jose and Alexander Wolf, they did what they had to do here. Roddy gets the hot tag in, hits the leg lariat, finally tags Dillinger in. They work the numbers game on Ty for a bit. And then the next thing you know, Roddy finally gets the final hot tag. He hits the backbreaker, hits the backdrop into the face buster. EY blind tags in. And Jose with a pescado to the outside, tiebreaker on EY, and here comes Dane with the Fall of Humanity. This leads to Eric Young stealing the pin. They went about 8 minutes. It was a decent way to end the show, and Sanity reigned supreme. Why? Because they have new merch powers, and no one else on the other team does.
Yep.
It was an okay show. I will say right now, as of this moment, this may sound really markish, but I'm going to admit that I'm a lot more excited for TakeOver Orlando than I am WrestleMania.
Starting now.
Yes.
From this moment.
We'll see what happens. So our final bit of news we normally go into before we actually get into our actual news for the night is we're going to talk a little New Japan Pro Wrestling.
No Ring of Honor, love?
But first, god dang it. You got to understand, I read the list wrong. ROH is next. So yeah, we're going right into Ring of Honor next.
Oh, shit. Scroll back up. So,
and I've got a lot of Ring of Honor news that we can talk about afterwards too. I mean, I know I didn't talk about the news earlier like I normally do. I've got the order of the show messed up completely. Just the normal bullet points, unintended. So we'll get to that. Let's talk about Ring of Honor this
one. At least for the first match, is Kevin Kelly and Colt Cabana.
It's a very interesting thing.
It's BJ Whitmer and Punishment Martinez versus Hanson and Rowe. Pretty solid tag match. Probably the last time you'll see Hanson and Rowe, I'd have thought.
As a team, yes.
And basically, they just all beat the fuck out of each other on the outside by the end of it. You know, there's bloody Raymond Rowe does a Superman punch, and I'm like, that is not the kind of thing a big fat guy needs to fucking do.
He's been doing that for a while.
Yeah, but association.
Right.
No, this was a double count out. To those of you might go, that isn't surprising. Keep in mind, this is Ring of Honor rules, which means it's a 20 count, not a 10.
Right.
So they didn't even make it. Neither of the teams made it into the ring for a 20 count. And afterwards, they keep beating the shit out of each other. And we fade to black, and we never find out what the fuck happens.
Well, that's always good.
That's how we write them off.
Pretty much.
Who knows?
Oh, that's cool.
Non-title action. Non-title action with the New Kingdom of TK O'Ryan, Vinny Marsaglia, and Matt Taven versus John Skyler, Corey Hollis, and Joseph Agau. Not too bad a match. There was a nice spot with Taven hitting a kick to Skyler and then Vinny throwing him all the way to the floor, which is a bit crazy. Hollis then somehow managed to go for a jackknife cover despite all that treatment. But then, thanks to, I guess, a distraction from the ref, Vinny bites Corey Hollis. TK O'Ryan hits him with, I guess, a KO punch, if you will. And then Taven hits a spike powerbomb and gets the 3 count. So then afterwards, Taven gets on the mic and says, everybody needs to take a good, long look at us because we're the only 6-man tag champs Ring of Honor will ever have. The belts will never leave the kingdom. Here comes Dalton Castle and the boys. And Matt says, what will... Taven's like, what the hell are you going to do? And Dalton says, boys, show them. And what happens is the boys basically push Dalton Castle. And Dalton goes, next time, they'll do it to you. It's like, what? And Taven's like, there's nothing between them besides air and opportunity. So we can do this now. The boys... Colt Cabana then gets involved pushing the boys. And again, we cut away. Like, okay, we're randomly cutting, like, where things finish here. There's no actual sort of flow. Whatever. So now we've got Cody Rhodes video package. And then Colt tries to go back to commentary, but Kevin Kelly basically says to Cabana, because of what you just did, get the hell away. I'm like, all right. So that means he's doing it himself, Kevin, for this one. Could be interesting. So it's the Young Bucks versus Show and Yo for the tag titles. And considering that Show and Yo are basically young boys from Japan, the Bucks make them look $1 million fucking dollars.
Oh, of course, it's the Bucks. What do you expect?
But yeah, the finish comes with the Bucks hitting a double super kick, and then Nick hits a Shining Wizard on Yo. Then they hit a double super kick on Show, running kick to Yo from the apron, and then a buckle bomb and an Insiguri combination. And then Sho Tanaka's hanging over the middle rope. Nick hits him with a springboard 450, gets the 3 count, and the Young Bucks retain. But afterwards, they raised Show and Yo's hands, only for Adam Page to show up and hit a slingshot clothesline to both of them. So then, Marty Scurll was on commentary for the main event because it's the Motor City Machine Guns and Co. going one-on-one, I guess, to establish a challenger. So it's Sabin, Dijak, Shelley, Leo Rush, Gresham, and Jay White, all in action. There was a nice bit, like, towards the middle with Leo Rush getting hit with a magic killer. And then there's disagreements between David and Shelley, push each other. And then, of course, they hug because they're too sweet for each other or something. But eventually, Dijak gets the win with a Feast Your Eyes and gets the 3 count. Which is interesting because
we'll get to that.
Just say, I would argue, Dijak be numbered.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't worry.
And then we go to the back, and War Machine is still beating the shit out of the new. What the fuck was Sullivan's stable called? I should know off the top of my head. What was Sullivan's stable called in WCW?
The new Dungeon of Doom?
Yeah. Basically, that's what this is.
Pretty much.
But yeah, they were beating the shit out of each other, and then they ended the show. So I have no clue.
I guess you're going to have to get someone to take up for Keith Lee and Shane Taylor feuding for Machine. That's my guess.
Well, are you?
Yeah, kind of.
Because let's get to the Ring of Honor stuff, because obviously they had... I don't know whether it was TV tapings or not. Seems a little unclear.
No, there weren't TV.
Might have been a bit of both.
As far as I can see right now, it's not TV.
Yeah, to be honest, with the way that the structured shows were. So, Friday in San Antonio was Undisputed Legacy. We had Jonathan Gresham beat Will Ferreira via submission. The Tempura Boys, aka Show and Yo, beat The Addiction with help from Adam Cole. Wait, hang on. Oh, I see, because of Daniels. I thought it was like the Tempura Boys are going to be in the Bullet Club. It was like, fuck. Them with the 6-man tag belts, the Kingdom beat War Machine and Jax Dane. But afterwards, Dane was angry at Raymond Rowe for getting pinned and left War Machine in the ring, basically for a 3-on-2. So that's why the Kingdom retained, probably. Dalton Castle then beat Jay Lethal and Bobby Fish in a triple threat match where Dalton pinned Lethal. And then afterwards, Bobby Fish and Jay Lethal had a giant brawl. So whether that's coming up, I don't know. BJ Whitman beat the Romantic Touch via pinfall. Then Keith Lee and Shane Taylor and the Briscoe brothers went to a no contest after both Jay Briscoe and Shane Taylor pushed Todd Sinclair, the referee, down. But chaos ensued, happened after. Shane took a Jay Driller. Keith Lee went for a table outside the ring after a froggy bow from Mark Briscoe. It's a crazy shit. Cody Rhodes beat Donovan Dijak. And the Bullet Club of Adam Cole, Adam Page, and the Young Bucks won their 8-man tag against the Motor City Machine Guns, Jay White and Lio Rush. Then Saturday, we had Honor Reign Supreme in Dallas. This one opened with Dalton Castle beating Donovan Dijak. Then War Machine beat the Rebellion of Dirty Andy Dalton and Rhett Titus. Wait, there's another person in the Rebellion now? The fuck? Anyway,
No, that's got to be wrong.
Who knows?
It said War Machine defeated Dirty Andy Dalton and Rhett Titus. Titus was recruiting for the Rebellion, but he left Dalton high and dry. So basically, he left him after the match was over.
Oh, so I guess Dalton isn't in the Rebellion.
It's basically what happened with Bull James.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that now, yeah.
Yep.
Adam Cole and Cody then beat The Addiction, with Cole hitting a super kick on Daniels. Oh, shit, it's happening.
Yeah, you're welcome. I called this a long time ago, and it's about time.
I don't know. I can't remember whether I called it first, except I got the timing wrong, just like Sami Zayn. Adam Page beat Jay Lethal, thanks to interference from Cody. Then the four-corner survival match, Will Ferreira beat Jonathan Gresham, Jax Dane, and what's listed here as Show. I don't think that's Show Tanaka. And I don't think that's Big Show, so I don't know. Bobby Fish beat Lio Rush. Shelley Sabin and Jay White beat the Kingdom, but by DQ, so Kingdom retained the 6-man tag belts. And then in 2 out of 3 falls match, I don't know whether it went to 3 falls or 2, but the Young Bucks retained the tag belts against the Briscoes.
I actually have this. The Bucks won with the Briscoes going over in the first fall. The second fall was the Lucha Rules. The Briscoes like, we ain't doing that. So they got immediately DQ'd for hitting the Bucks with chairs. The third fall, no DQ. Indy Taker on the walkway with Nick Jackson doing the long jump off the entrance. Adam Page came out to break up the pin. They hit the Meltzer driver on chairs to finish off the Briscoes. You alluded to it, Ashley. Donovan Dijak is finishing up his Ring of Honor commitments this weekend.
Which is interesting because I think, well, from what I can tell, because obviously that match was to establish who would be facing Marty for his belt. I'm guessing that probably means Dijak's finishing up at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh no,
He did.
He's on the Saturday show, isn't he?
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Actually, I'll get that in a minute. So I'll run over the ROH card for the weekend in a bit. But he basically says when he wins the championship, he's going to. He says, "Who knows what will happen, where he will go, or what network he will show up on."
Paramount.
Good God. So Ring of Honor's this weekend. Steel City Excellence in Pittsburgh. As of right now, we talked about the Top Prospect Tournament, which is going to be that's going to be kicking off along with Women of Honor. The Motor City Machine Guns taking on the Tempura Boys. Punishment Martinez and BJ Whitmer against War Machine in no DQ tag match. The Kingdom defend the 6-man tag belts against the Rebellion. That Marty Scurll Donovan Dijak match for the World TV title is listed, and the main event 8-man tag Adam Cole, Cody Rhodes, and the Young Bucks taking on Jay Lethal, Bobby Fish, and the Briscoes. As of now, tickets are still available. Stage AE, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 7:30 bell time. And then we go the next day at Express Live, the same day as True Destiny, the same day as the BAFTAs, the same day as the Elimination Chamber. Ring of Honor comes to Columbus, Ohio for the.
Looking at the same time.
Oh, that's great.
Obviously, the BAFTAs, it's a bit confusing because it's even when it's broadcast over here, it's not live.
Right.
The BAFTAs will be happening when WCPW is happening, and Ring of Honor will be happening pretty much head to head with Elimination Chamber. But because of that, everybody that attends gets to decide what the shit's going on.
Yeah, it's Taboo Tuesday, Cyber Sunday.
No, it's not even Cyber. No, because nobody on computer can vote for it.
Basically, you're going to be able to vote if you're live. There are two matches you can vote for.
Is if you go, you decide.
So we got the Briscoes against the Tempora Boys, Jay White and the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Rebellion. We have Cody Rhodes versus Dalton Castle. It should be fun. Marty Scurll puts the World TV title on the line against Leo Rush in a proving ground match. Fans that are in attendance can choose if it's 2 out of 3 falls, a European rounds contest, or a submission match. The Young Bucks put the Ring of Honor tag belts up against War Machine. The Kingdom put the 6-man tag belts up against whomever the fans choose. So fans can choose the opponents of the Kingdom for the 6-man tag belts. And in the main event, the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion Adam Cole and Adam Page. The Adams team up against Jay Lethal and Bobby Fish. And you can choose if it's a tables match, false count anywhere, or a no DQ match. And these results will be covered next week here on this show.
Mm-hmm.
So Ring of Honor also said goodbye to Kevin Kelly this week.
Sort of.
Well, for the most part. I mean, he's basically left the company as their full-time announcer. It said that he's going to be working on the website and a streaming service. He gave his notice, and it looks like that they're looking at former House of Hardcore commentator and Ring of Honor ring announcer on the time, Ian Riccoboni, to replace him. And he's been doing commentary lately with Silas Young, actually.
Which could be happening because Silas has got his exclusive deal done.
You're correct. Ring of Honor news that basically goes into our New Japan news. Kenny Omega is officially announced for Honor Rising at the Korakuen Hall in Tokyo on February 26th and 27th. And he will be doing the U.S. shows as well as appearances for Ring of Honor later this year. So his visa issues that kept him out of the country are a thing of the past. You will see Kenny Omega on U.S. soil.
Ring of Honor decided to fucking bother with it because they realize we're fucking losing everybody.
That's exactly right.
Also, you noticed the actual big news from Honor Rising.
I don't think I did.
There is no Bobby Fish on the card.
Well, that makes sense.
Japan shows where he's hot. So, you know, bye-bye. Bye-bye, Bobby Fish.
Yeah. So we move from ROH to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So now we're good. So let's a lot of things happened over the weekend.
Well, I quickly want to mention some other Japanese stuff before we actually get to New Japan, because JWP, the women's promotion, they're getting a corporate rebranding of sorts. So the JWP name will cease to be in April. I think the last show is like April the 2nd, so it's Mania Day.
Right.
DDT announced that they're going to be doing a very interesting match for the Korakuen Hall show that they have coming up February 19th. We won't cover it, but I just thought you might want to note that there's a tag match with Haro facing Konosuke Takeshita and Dick Togo. And then also, there's a three-way match for the Iron Man heavy metal belt. You know, the belt that
The Joey
Ladder's
Ryan
won in
belt.
the past and a cat has won.
Yes.
Multiple cats, actually. And it's challenger Keisuke Ishii versus challenger Antonio Honda versus challenger a kotatsu, or a Japanese sitting table, as champion. And the great thing is, there's the shot of the press conference with like the press conference like host with a giant bloody afro wig on for some reason, and the fucking table is there with like a towel on it with the belt on it.
That's great.
And then the big one, which we might as well mention here because it's Japan, into news. Pro Wrestling Noah is fucking desperate. / TNA is fucking desperate.
Hey, I was going to get into that in the news.
For some reason, these fuckers are getting back together.
Well, then we'll get to that news bit then if you want to start it now, because I was going to get into it later. But if you had to bring it up now, let's go into it.
I want to get rid of the Japan number first. So it's like, and this sort of was the thing what I was literally scratching my head. I know Noah's desperate. I know TNA's desperate. But why would you go to each other for desperate? We know how TNA is with desperate. Look what's happened to Wrestle 1.
To be honest, this was TNA news for me, and that's the reason why I wanted to go into it with TNA. So it was announced earlier that New Japan, long day, Pro Wrestling Noah is now going to be collaborating with Impact moving forward. They held a press conference. Masayuki Uchida, which is the president of Noah, made the official announcement. They're going to be having Impact Superstars compete at their Yokohama event on March 12th, which is perfect timing for them to get on a plane after they run the TV tapings at the beginning of March. Everybody thinks it's going to happen. Interesting thing to attach to this is Scott D'Amore's coming back.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's going to be working on international relations and creative. He's going to be working on other backstage duties. And he was the one who assisted Jeff Jarrett with the Noah partnership in the first place. So we can thank Scott D'Amore for Pro Wrestling Noah getting together with Impact Wrestling.
Thank is not the right word. Blame.
I guess it depends on who you're looking at.
It's looking more and more like TNA is just going to revert back to the Jerry Jarrett days.
Well, don't forget, once again, even though this is news, I might as well just, because I don't have much TNA news, so I might as well just knock it out right now if you want to go in that direction. So with Impact...
Whatever. I still haven't had my fucking gold. And this is the guy that's going to be put in charge of TNA. I now know why I realise he's going to get the fucking gold. He's going to get Don West to sell gold bag fucking specials.
Yes.
On shoptna.com.
That's exactly right, and that's how life should be. Don West needs to be on television. Don West is a national treasure. Don't think I ever believed otherwise.
No, but where's my gold, fucking Don West?
Don West has nothing in your gold. Jeff Jarrett will never give you your gold. Jeff Jarrett was an executive consultant for TNA. Now he's going to be an executive producer. He's going to replace John Gaburek, finally. Gaburek may not be leaving the company. They're trying to restructure his deal so he can stay. Dutch Mantell is working on creative with Matt Conway, John, and Madison Rain as of this moment. Dixie's gone, officially. She's no longer part of the decision-making process. Serge, her husband, is also gone from the company. Hence the music issues we had back in the TNA tapings in September. So his profile on LinkedIn notates that he is the general manager of Trifecta Entertainment and Texville Tunes Music Publishing in Nashville. This was the company Dixie used to run before she took over TNA. And in bad news that hasn't been officially rectified yet, the Hardys and Drew Galloway have yet to sign contracts. As of this moment, it looks like all three will re-sign, but it has not happened as of yet.
The thing is with Galloway, he's with Galloway. I think he's the one that not.
He's the one that might not, but I think the Hardys will stay.
The Hardys will stay. I'd have thought because of the freedom that they've got, because they are abusing the fuck out of TNA.
Hey, it's some of the best.
Reason quite a lot of people are watching, so more money, bitch.
It's true.
Galloway's got AAW. He's got Evolve. He's got all the English promotions that he's involved with. He's pretty busy on his own.
We'll see what he does.
If he's done right with his money, he can probably be fine just doing those sort of things. Plus, he does PWG as well.
Right.
So, it could be a thing.
So now we come to New Japan Pro Wrestling and what has been going on lately.
So, yeah, we have the New Beginning show in Sapporo, Hokkaido. Pretty busy on Sunday. We had Desperado and Kanemaru beat Kushida and Hiroi Kawato. Desperado staring down Kushida afterwards. That's fucking ironic. We'll get to that in a minute. Tenkoji and Nagata beat Yoshitatsu Hinare and Oka. Oka getting the young boy treatment there. And Ospreay, Yado, and Gedo beat Shibata, Liger, and Tiger Mask with Ospreay pinning Tiger Mask. And then declared he will take the British title away from Shibata. And then Yoshihashi beat Iizuka. So then with the big ones of sorts, the 10-man tag saw New Japan / CMLL because of Dragon Lee being in it. So that's Elgin, Tanahashi, Nakanishi, Taguchi, and Dragon Lee. Beat LIJ of Naito, Sanada, Evil, Bushi, and Hiromu Takahashi. Afterwards, there was a stare down between Takahashi and Dragon Lee, again building to their match. Beretta and Romero Roppongi Vice retained the junior tag belts over Taichi and Taka. Afterwards, Kanemaru and Desperado did a surprise attack and are the next challengers for the belts. We'll get to that. Then we have the successful defense by Hiroki Goto against Juice Robinson. Match went like 14 minutes or so, which was sort of surprising that it went that long. Then Yano and Ishii managed to retain in the freeway against Archer and Davey Boy, as well as Makabe and Honma. Thanks to shenanigans and, again, another schoolboy on Makabe. Key thing to note about this, though, that match is basically going to be happening again this coming week. So I think we might be having a different a different combination of winners, probably. And then after 40 minutes of crazy shit, Okada retains the heavyweight title over Suzuki. Suzuki, for about 30 of the 40 minutes, was murdering Okada's leg. And even the referee was like saying, give up. Please give up. And Okada was like, no. See, there's such. I can't say that, although it was a really good match, I can't say it was a great match because there was so much selling. It was like it was overselling, if that's possible. It's like kept going to the leg, and it's like we know he's not going to tap. If he didn't tap at minute 5 when all this stuff was happening, how the hell is he going to tap at 35? Whatever. But interestingly, after the win, nobody came forward to answer Okada, but expects the winner of New Japan Cup to be ready. And then said that he wouldn't mind having a match against Tiger Mask W. So, does this mean we get the best friends face each other? Possibly in Omega versus clearly not Kota Ibushi, Tiger Mask W.
Well, but see, the issue with this is I know that match will happen. But the thing is, I think that Omega needs to be one that takes the IWGP title away from Okada.
He will. Remember, they haven't announced yet who's in
the Cup.
the
Yeah,
New Japan Cup.
That's true.
They will probably announce it after this weekend's final show of the New Beginning stuff.
Right.
Well, perhaps not maybe this weekend, but certainly by this time next week, hopefully we'll know. Because whoever wins that will probably challenge at the April show.
Right.
Which I think is King of Pro Wrestling. Might be no, Don Taku's later on in the year. It isn't Dominion, I know that. But they had a Korakuen Hall show on Tuesday. So Hanare beat Tomoyuki Oka. So yeah, the young boys face each other, so that's a bit unfair. Then interestingly, Kojima and Nagata versus Yoshitatsu and Kawato. Kojima and Nagata won, but the guy who took the fall was Yoshitatsu, not the young boy. That's a bit weird.
Very interesting.
Then Tenzan, Liger, and Tiger Mask beat Iizuka, Taichi, and Taka. Tenzan winning via foul because Iizuka hit the iron finger. I don't know what that is. It sounds horrible. Oh, by the way, worth noting, basically everybody lost from Suzuki Gun. First show. Everybody lost.
The iron finger is a throat thrust while wearing an iron glove.
Fucking stolen Cage's gauntlet.
Yep.
What the fuck? Holy shit. So then we had the special elimination matches. So these are 10-man tags where you can win by either being thrown over the top rope or, pinfall. Most of the ones in this first match were over the top rope, apart from Yado and Gedo getting taken out by Makabe. So this was Makabe, Honma, Shibata, Juice Robinson, and Kushida versus Goto, Yoshihashi, Will Ospreay, Yado, and Gedo. It's also worth noting Ospreay got thrown out within 2 minutes. And Shibata got thrown out within 2 minutes as well, like about 5 seconds afterwards. So clearly we're letting them rest is it Saturday? No, Friday?
It's Saturday, according to
Saturday.
New Japan's new English website.
Friday night. Very late in Friday night.
And JPW1972.com.
But interestingly, the sole survivor was Juice Robinson after throwing Goto over the top rope and made his intentions known that he wants another shot at Goto's title. Hello, Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
Then in the second one, it was Chaos of Ishii, Yano, Okada, Romero, and Beretta taking on Suzuki, Lance Archer, David Boy Smith Jr., Kanemaru, and El Desperado. Which is probably worth noting. Because I don't see El Desperado listed in the eliminations. I think is worth noting. Either way, Kanemaru won for hitting Beretta with the deep impact. And Suzuki declared that he's not finished with it. This is only the beginning. No, it isn't, because Kenny Omega will come in and go, fuck you, Suzuki. I'll do what you couldn't, you old fuck. Probably. And then we had the third one, which was Elgin, Tanahashi, Nakanishi, Taguchi, and Dragon Lee versus the LIJ guys. And it was Taguchi that got the win for his team with a Samson clutch on Sonata. Taguchi getting the win for Team New Japan, and then also a pretty strong reaction from the fans with that win. Now, building into this week, a few switches here and there on the card. So, at least as of Monday, they switched it out so Rocky Romero and Beretta would be facing in their matches instead Kanemaru and El Desperado to build to the next tag match. So basically, Taichi and Taka switch places with Kanemaru and El Desperado in the card. So it's now Tenkoji and Kushida versus Suzuki, Taichi, and Taka, and Okada and Roppongi Vice versus Suzuki, Kanemaru, and El Desperado. Oh, will it? We'll get to that in a minute. The big title matches. Tanahashi, Nakanishi, and Taguchi defend the never openweight 6-man belts against Sanada, Evil, and Bushi in the rematch for the former champs. Katsuya Shibata defends the Rev Pro British title against Will Ospreay. Then we've got Yano and Ishii defending the tag belts against Makabe and Honma and Archer and David Boy Smith again. Hiromu Takahashi versus Dragon Lee. You know how good that is because they're putting it second to last on the card. And Naito versus Elgin. They also announced that the New Japan Cup will be starting on the weekend. At least I think it's a weekend. Yeah, it would be of March 11th and 12th. The second round being split between 4 shows between March 13th and March 17th. The semi-finals then being on March 19th. Then the finals March 20th, when the winner getting to challenge for whichever singles title that they want. At least within the basically your Intercontinental, your World Heavyweight, or your Never Openweight belt on the April the 9th show. So here's the fuck up. El Desperado suffered a right knee injury on the Tuesday show, and so will miss the rest of the tour. No words on the severity of the issue, but it's enough to keep him off. So I don't know what they're going to do with that 6-man now. I guess we'll have to see. And sticking with Japan, Dragon Gate had their Korakuen Hall show this past Thursday, I think. If I can scroll up, because I remember talking about it last week. The only title match on that was Yamato retaining against BB Hulk. Built to quite a few matches coming up for their Champion Gate and Osaka shows. Aita will defend the Brave Gate title against El Lindaman, and Yamato defends the Dream Gate title against Cyberkong. Then for the 8th of March Kurikan Hall event, it's the Over Generation versus Berserk headhunting match. Sounds a bit ominous. It'll be Chima, Aita, Dragon Kid, Takahiro Yamaura, Naruki Doi versus Shingo Takagi, Cyberkong, T-Hawk, El Lindaman, and Punch Tominaga. So it's 10-man tag headhunting, apparently. Also, it is worth noting that BB Hulk, in his speech at the end of the Kurikan Hall show from last week, did note that Flamita would be making his return to the company in March. Heading back from excursions a little bit. So now I've got to check while Owen tells me about some of the news.
Okay, to piggyback on the New Japan news real quick, New Japan has released an official English website.
Oh, they're going serious now. I like
Yep.
it.
njpw1972.com. So we move on to what's going on in the world of Evolve. So Evolve announced their matches for the time being for 78 and 79. They're going to be taking place later this month. The 25th in Joppa for 78 and in Queens on the 25th. Timothy Thatcher defending the Evolve title against Fred Yehai. And 3 special attraction matches. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Keith Lee. Drew Galloway versus Jeff Cobb. And one half of the Evolve Tag Team Champions, Tracy Williams, taking on ACH. Evolve 79 will take place with Timothy Thatcher defending the Evolve title against Zack Sabre Jr. if he is able to defeat Fred Yehai at Evolve 78. There's going to be of course, the grudge match between Drew Galloway and Matthew Riddle. Ethan Page takes on Darby Allin, and Tracy Williams this time faces Keith Lee. So it is appearing that Bubba Ray and Devon are opening up a new branch of their Team 3D Academy. They're going to be opening a new school in the northeast, somewhere either in Philly or New York, most likely. A lot of people know 3D have trained a lot of superstars and not real superstars like Rob Terry and Jesse Neal, Leva Bates, James Radine, who works for Z1 in Japan. There's no timeline when it will open, but it will be coming later this year. So, WrestleMania week news.
Something that I remembered, just because you brought up Rob Terry. Remember when TNA did the whole British invasion, winning the Japanese belts without informing New Japan?
Right.
Little did I know, Doug Williams, one half of the champs, was currently at the time working for Pro Wrestling Noah, their biggest rival.
Interesting.
So TNA was even more fucking stupid with that shit. I didn't even know that until I found out today. God damn it.
So before we get into WrestleMania news, I do have some information currently about Style Battle. This Friday night, Season 1, Episode 2, FlowSlam.tv if you want to watch it. Block A, AR Fox versus Drew Galloway, and Anthony Henry versus Caleb Conley. There's going to be a fray that starts out with 2 competitors. One enters every minute. Eliminations can take place anytime by pinfall, submission, knockout, and the last man standing is the winner. Austin Theory, Eddie Machete, Xander Killen, Connor Braxton, Alex Taylor, Jackson Kelly are currently confirmed. And Block B matches of Fred Yehai versus Tracer X and Sami Callihan against Dan Barry. Tammy Sitch has been released from a Carbon County Correctional Facility on parole. So yes, she was arrested.
Because you mentioned the... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I was going to tie into another WWN thing, but because you're in the middle of something, I'll let you do that first.
Tammy basically was taken back into custody back in September for violating parole, charged with possession of alcohol and being under the influence, and both of which did violate the zero tolerance policy of her probation.
Can't say I'm surprised about that, though.
Sadly not.
So, yeah, the WWN stuff, that's on the Friday, the style battle, but on Saturday, Full Impact Pro are taking over the Orpheum with Ascension 2017. Hi, Connor and Victor. Whole load of people set to be on the card, including Sami Callihan, AR Fox, and Darby Allin of Uncle John's friends. Jesus.
Not again.
Dante Brown apparently has a reward for anybody who can collect the debt that Anthony Henry and Amber Young owe him. A special challenge match with Aria Blake versus Dynamite Didi. Kerr Conley taking on Jason Cade. Martin Stone defends the Heritage title in a rematch against John Davis. And Fred Yehai defends the FIP World title against Brian Cage. So that's your WWN Live stuff for this week, at least anyway.
And more news. MoreThanMania.com. Obviously, a lot going on in Orlando and the Orlando area during WrestleMania week. A lot of things I'll be able to participate in. A lot of things, unfortunately, I will not. One of the things I will not be able to participate in is the fact that the Hardys are throwing a broken tailgate party. This is going to be from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday of WrestleMania outside of Saddle Up at North Orange Avenue in Orlando. $30 gets you a barbecue meal with non-alcoholic beverage, full bar, cash bar, of course. There's going to be an American Combat Wrestling show at 11 a.m. and a FIP show at 2 p.m. If you want information, check out and get tickets. It's ticketfly.com. They'll be on sale very soon. $30 gen admission to both ACW and FIP. You can upgrade to a ringside seat for $10. So $40 ringside for the Hardys. Autograph session.
Owen's probably going to go to the F4W unofficial tailgate party instead.
Who knows? It's not up to me. We're tailgate because I'll get to that in a minute too with something else that just got announced earlier today. But that's WWE news. The autograph session, Broken Matt, Brother Nero, Revy, Senior Benjamin, and Maxwell will be autographs. The signing and picture opportunity is noon to 5. You do not need to purchase that.
How the fuck is Maxwell going to do an autograph?
I don't know how that's going to work.
A handprint, like
probably. It's probably just going to be like the Blue Man Group. I can vouch for that. I do have an autograph for the Blue Man Group that works that way. Anyway, you don't have to have a tailgate.
Be that weird, like Japanese gif of the ice cream person eating themselves.
Good God!
You don't need to have gif.
You don't need to have a tailgate ticket in order to get an autograph session admittance. Matt and Brother Nero, $40, including 8x10 in the photo op. Rebby and Senior Benjamin with Maxwell, $20 each, including both photo and 8x10. The broken package with all 5, $99, includes 4 8x10s, 4 photo ops. So obviously Maxwell is not giving you an autograph. He's just going to be in your pictures, maybe. I know
that's a fucking fucking lie then.
Well, I know when the Hardys did the deal with MCW, the same deal they're doing here, they had where Maxwell just couldn't do it anymore, and Rebby and Maxwell just disappeared. So that's what happens. He's a child. FIP show.
I just want a fucking Crayola crayon and just put a giant M on it.
Fair point. The FIP show in question, already confirmed. FIP World Champion Fred Yehai. The tag champions, the Hooligans. Don't know how that's going to work. I'm pretty sure one of them got injured over the weekend. The Heritage Champion Martin Stone, AR Fox, Sami Callihan, Jason Cade, Austin Theory, Anthony Henry, Sammy Guevara, John Davis, Aria Blake, and more to be added. So that's very interesting. Hashtag Broken Tailgate. You want to talk about it on Twitter. Thought we mentioned that. AAW ran its End of Innocence show on February 4th. Eric Cannon defeated David Starr, Stephen Wolf, and Marion Fontaine in a four-way. Mike Hartenbauer over Zicky Dice. Candice LeRae and Samantha Heights defeating Jessica Havoc and Sienna. Davey Vega and Matt Fitchett, the bestiest in the world, defeated Paco and Ace Perry. DJ Zema Ion over Kruger. Yes, the former Adam Rose is using his former Leo Kruger gimmick now in the Indies. I know I was not aware if you knew that or not. Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier defeated OI4K, David Jake Chris. ACH defended the Heritage title over Trevor Lee. Brew Baker, CJ Esparza, and Brett Gakaya defeated Cody Rice, Connor Braxton, and Bucky. Pentagon Jr. over AR Fox. And in the main event, Sami Callihan successfully defended the AAW heavyweight title over Congo Kong. AAW returns 115 Bourbon Street, February 17th for the Art of War. Confirmed so far, we have Abyss versus Eddie Kingston. The Best Friends versus the Besties in the World. So that should be really fun. El Hijo del Fantasma versus Low Key. Sami Callihan, Ray Phoenix, Jack Evans, Michael Elgin, Matthew Riddle. And in the main event, ACH puts the Heritage title up against Matt Sydal. In loose news that somewhat ties into WCPW without tying into WCPW, Goldberg has been announced for his first post-WrestleMania appearances. He'll be doing 3 one-man shows in the UK. Tickets available InsideTheRopes.co.uk starting this Friday. It's called You're Next, an evening with Goldberg. It's Glasgow on the 26th, Manchester on the 27th, and London on July 2nd.
Yeah.
Kenny McIntosh, of course, will be taking care of this show, as he always does. Yeah, it's not promoted as What Culture, but it might. That's why I said it might as well be.
It'll be filmed for What Culture Extra.
You are correct. $6.99.
The other one,
$6.99.
Can we get to the one I'm caring about?
Goldberg's future remains in question right now. His dates end at WrestleMania 33, and there's a possibility future dates could be added if both parties are interested and the right deal can be reached. Now we move to WWE news. And I might as well bring this one up first because this is the one that I think you want to talk about. And we're going to talk about Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson being a stupid cum.
Dwayne Johnson has a production company called $7. Don't understand what that means. Maybe I'm not supposed to. Apparently,
$7.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, for some reason, while shooting Fast and Furious in London, he watched a documentary about a local wrestling family and their daughter's unlikely journey into the global spotlight.
Let me add to that. He said a local TV station.
It was a local TV station, according to this. Obviously, you're going to prove that incorrect.
It's a national TV station. It's like Fox. It's like CBS. Everybody gets the fucking channel. It's not regionalized or anything. It's like it's local to the UK.
Right.
If he said a UK station, I wouldn't have objected. But the fact he used the word local, it's like, well, not really.
I guess it's local for the UK, and I think that's the wording he was going with, but he didn't say it the right way.
But it was national, though.
Right.
Even people in Scotland, wow.
Maybe
Scotland,
not.
I think, might have like a variant version, which isn't the same channel. I'm not sure, but whatever.
Anyway.
People in Newcastle would get the same program as people in London.
As the story continues.
Anyway, the documentary Family, which is a really good documentary about the Knight family, which is Zach and Soraya and oh shit, I can't remember Dad.
Well, he's listed as Ricky, but I can assure you that's not his shoot name.
Ricky Knight. No, we'll stick with Ricky Knight.
That's his work name. That's not his shoot name. Because I found this out when I went to Wikipedia. His shoot name is Patrick.
Don't. I'm sticking with Ricky Knight. He might not know where I live, but he's closer to me than you. I'm not taking a fucking chance. Unless you say it's you that's saying it, and it's nothing to. I disavow all knowledge of whatever you say. You can
anyway, so Dwayne apparently took it to his producer, Kevin Misher, and they got Stephen Merchant. Okay. Working with WWE.
But
very random. Working with WWE Studios and Film 4. Of course it's Film 4. To bring this story to life.
It's a Channel 4 documentary, so they're going to want to be involved.
I've watched so many foreign films because of the award season. I know very well what Film 4 is. Now...
Idiot me, motherfuckers!
Now, Merchant's going to write, direct, and executive produce. And here's some interesting little bits of it. Now, there's some casting that's been announced.
Well, the two that I know about is the brother and sister.
So,
two up-and-coming actors that are really have potential.
So Paige will be portrayed by Florence Pugh.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack Lowden will be playing Zach.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Here's the interesting thing. Just got announced today, they've cast Soraya Knight and Rowdy Ricky.
Right.
Have you heard this?
No.
Oh, yes, I get to break this news. So Dwayne went on Twitter and he made the announcement. And this is on, I believe it's Deadline. It's a website that basically, where is it? I think it's Deadline. Yeah, it's a website.
It has a ton of Hollywood news. I know.
Yeah,
that.
it's an entertainment super site basically, and it would announce that we have confirmed Nick Frost as Ricky Knight.
What?
And Lena Headey as Soraya Knight.
Because of Christ.
Yes, Game of Thrones, Lena Headey as Soraya Knight. So
the thing is, she was like the voice in Kingsglaive of like the woman. You know, like the prequel that they did to the video game that came out like last year. She doesn't reprise the role in the video game, so it's like I don't give a shit about her. And now she's playing. Does that mean we're gonna see because I know the backstory of Saraya, does that mean we're basically going to see Leah Headey's interpretation try and commit suicide?
Well, let me give you the story here, and the story was listed on Deadline. It's a reformed gangster and former wrestler Ricky, his wife Julia, daughter Saraya, and son Zach, making a living performing in tiny venues across the country. Ricky and Julia want a better life for their children, and when brother and sister get the chance to audition for the WWE, it seems the family dream is coming true and all their troubles will be solved. However, Saraya and Zach are about to learn that becoming a WWE superstar demands more than they've ever imagined possible as athletes and siblings. Who's playing Del Rio? Who's playing Del Rio? Who's playing that tool from Total Divas?
Is Gael Garcia Bernal free?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Bernal as Del Rio would be phenomenal. But yeah, that's the story of the Page movie that Dwayne Johnson is putting together.
My only issue is... No. My only issue is it's a fucking documentary.
Right?
Watch that.
Well, yeah, of course.
That's real. How much of there's going to be in this film ain't going to ever happen. Will they actually go to Colt Cabana's podcast with Saraya, where she says about basically how she was how she was basically hooked on drugs and homeless when she was 16? Methinks possibly not.
Doubtful.
Because I hope WWE tries and does it as a proper movie rather than a Resurrection of Gavin Stone movie. And they don't try and kidify it up too much.
I don't think
if it was a 15 certificate over here or a PG, well, would it be rated R would be a bit too strong?
Maybe
it's like between PG-13 and rated R, if you get what I mean.
So that's PG-13.
I don't want it to be too, take your kids to view it. It's fun for all the family sort of thing. It doesn't need to be.
So yeah, that's happening.
My question is, who's going to play all the women in Shimmer?
I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out more information as we move forward.
It's part of WWN. Because it's part of WWN. It's like Lena Headey's taking on Lufisto. I don't
know. That should be interesting. It's just going to be like The Wrestler all over again.
Also, remember, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's going to be cameoing in it as himself.
God.
That's I've worked out what that is. Because Dwayne was around, I'm pretty sure, when Paige made her debut opening night after Mania, 30 was it?
Something like that.
When she won the title off AJ?
Maybe.
I think it was that, or was it 29? Can't remember. One of the two. But that'll probably be it, and it'll be like, Dwayne. It's like, hang on, I'm pretty sure you weren't fucking there. Especially if it was 29, because he went and buggered off because he was in. Who knows?
So, former female talents from WWE have been contacted to appear at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah.
And something that is probably going to push a lot of locals and people from out of state to Uber. WrestleMania 33 parking is going to cost $150 per car. Yeah, obviously.
You know what happens when you rip the fuck out people out of money for a show that could be shit? You know what happens, WWE? You just made the list.
And that's funny you mention that, because if you go to shop.wwe.com right now, you too can pick up your very own List of Jericho for $24.99.
Now, what is it? Is it just a clipboard, or is
It
it
is
actually like a part fake list / something I could do my shopping list on?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It is a clipboard with a notepad attached to it.
Yes!
With the monogrammed List of Jericho.
You just made the list! Potato
Indeed.
wedges? You just made the list!
Pretty much. Okay.
Cornish pasties? You just made the list!
Tyler Bate is returning against Trent Seven. Well, actually, this match already happened, and it tore the house down. It's going to be next week on NXT. UK talents will be competing on NXT moving forward. Mark Andrews versus Pete Dunne was also done during the recent tapings. So, yeah, you're welcome.
That explains why Dan Malone got pulled from Shikara, then.
Makes sense. So, a lot of interesting names came out of the Performance Center. Apparently, some football guy named Isaiah Standback. I don't know who that is.
There's a hurricane coming through!
Some football guy named Taron Beckham. I don't care. Let's talk about important things. Other names that were at the tryout at the Performance Center. Anna Teresa, Ashley Kaltwasser, Barbie Hayden, Courtney Wicks, Hyan Young, Jeanette Davila, Katya Kavaleva, Kennedy Brink, Lacey Lane, Lady Tapa, Lindsay Snow, Miranda Salinas.
What?
Yeah,
Lady Tapas!
Yep. Yep, exactly.
Bobby Hayden, I'm confused by, because, you know, she's been wrestling for way too long anyway. Kennedy Brink makes sense. Lady Tapas, fuck off. We've already got 2 fucking Samoan big bitches. We don't need any more, thank you. Piss off. Where else are you on the list? Fran's list.
Nicole Matthews.
Ooh.
Rekka Renee Michelle, Stephanie Rowe, and Valia I. The males.
Wow. It's going to be CZW this weekend, awkward.
Yeah. Ben Gaguli, Brandon Tall, Brian Bukowsk, Chad West, Earl Mitchell, Edward Sagho Moynihan, James Riley, Carl Fredericks, Kyle Francati, Lakeem Bradbury, Lance Anawai. Yes, another one.
Oh no! Why is it taking him so long?
I don't know.
He's a better fucking Uso than the Usos.
You are correct.
The irony.
I don't know why it's taken him so long to get there, but here he is. Louis Nezegwu, Luke Bennett, Mickey Moreno, Mike Orlando, Ricky Stark, Sammy Guevara, Teddy Stigma, T-Gray Imperial, Wrecking Ball Legursky, and Trevor Steele.
Is that T-Gray Uno?
I would think so. I don't know for a fact, but it sounds like it is.
Yeah, more TNA people that got fucked by Dixie Carter.
Coming to 205 Live very soon. Extreme Tiger.
Yeah.
WWE Network put out a list of things called hidden gems. Very interesting.
Christ, yeah.
Dallas Wrestling Show from April 29th, 1952. Killer Kowalski versus Mr. Moto and Duke Kamuka at the Dallas Sportatorium. Dallas Wrestling from November 8th, 1966. Joe Blanchard, Cowboy Bob Ellis, and Duke Kamuka against Bob Geigel, Gary Hart, and Walter Von Erich. We see Bruno Sammartino versus George the Animal Steele from July 29th, 1970 in the WWF. Championship Wrestling from Florida with a strength in your knowledge of wrestling maneuvers demonstrated by Danny Hodge, Harley Race, and other legends of the ring. So it's like a wrestling demonstration. Mid-South from 1975, November 27th, Cowboy Bill Watts versus Terry Funk for the North American Championship. The Stampede Wrestling Show on August 17th, 1979, where Antonio Inoki battled Stan the Lariat Hansen. Mid-Atlantic from November 22nd, 1979, the first and only battle between Ric Flair and Buddy Rogers. I warn you, it's only a few minutes, but it's the only footage that exists. Big Time Wrestling from June 7th, 1981, Big Cat Ernie Ladd against Kerry Von Erich. Mid-South Wrestling from September 1st, 1983, Bill Watts interviews Andre the Giant. Then we get into some very interesting things that, Ashley, you may have some knowledge of. The Global Wrestling Federation, January 6, 1992. The Lightning Kid defending the light heavyweight title against Jerry Lynn. 2 out of 3 falls.
Is that fucking Jeff Jarrett?
No. This was the GWF. This show is
the wrong way around.
Yes, the show was filmed on December 27th, 1991, and the Sportatorium. The show also featured Eddie Gilbert defeating Terry Garvin, as well as 2 out of 3 falls for the North American Championship, the Patriot versus Scott Raven Anthony. We had a bunkhouse brawl between the Wild Bunch of Bill Irwin and Black Bart against the Coast to Coast Connection of Rod Price and John Tatum. That were one of my favorite tag teams growing up. So you get that match. Then you get the Stu Hart 50th Anniversary Show from December 15th, 1955. Bad Company versus the Funks, which is Terry and Dory Funk versus Brian Pillman and Bruce Hart. The show is very interesting, given the fact that this featured when Bertha Faye was in the WWF. She went under the Rhonda Singh gimmick that made her famous, and she worked Casey Houston. We saw a phenomenal match between Chris Benoit and Louis Spicoli when he was Rad Radford. Razor Ramon defeating Owen Hart for the Intercontinental Championship is successfully retained, and the main event was Bret Hart over Davey Boy Smith when Bret was the World Heavyweight Champion. Here's another interesting match, Ashley. If you look at the list, you see something called Festival de Lucha. January 27, 1990.
Festival of Friendship.
No. They were going to air a Lucha Libre show on Super Astros in WCW, and this was an unaired pilot. The match in question is Conan, Rey Mysterio Jr., Hector Garza, and Silver King, and it says face a team led by Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is teaming with Johnny Swinger, Norman Smiley, and Lenny Lane.
That's a thing?
Yeah, interesting stuff here. The show actually ended with a main event of Conan over Disco Inferno.
What?
UPW. Yeah, exactly. UPW. April 25th, 2001, Edge and Christian versus Frankie Kazarian and Nova. The show was also famous for having a lot of interesting things on it, as well as a main event of Samoa Joe defending the UPW heavyweight title against Tommy Dreamer. On July 28, 2001, Leviathan against Brock Lesnar from OVW. Florida Championship Wrestling, the battle between Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Leah Kay, the former Roman Reigns, battling for the FCW Championship title shot. So that's really interesting. WrestleMania week just got added a NXT television taping that Wednesday back at Full Sail. I'm not depending on if I work or not, if I can find a way into that show, if I'm going to be there. Dana Warrior is signed on as a brand ambassador for the company.
Makes sense.
Nikki Bella will be done in the ring after WrestleMania 33, but she'll be doing behind-the-scenes stuff afterwards.
Yeah, but apparently all that shit about her neck issues that they brought up on Talking Smack, when they decided to have Natty just smack her head into the bloody Perspex table. Let's hope. I mean, I don't hope that she's actually injured, but let's hope she is, because then that'll make them think twice about doing anything like that. Ever.
Well, they're saying that the pain that you're referring to causes numbness to one side of the body. Basically, Nikki's contract is up about WrestleMania time, but they think that she'll sign a new contract before so she can finish it out. The dark match for SmackDown was Mojo Rawley over Kurt Hawkins. And the dark match after 205 Live was Dean Ambrose retaining the Intercontinental title against The Miz with Daniel Bryan as the ref. Nakamura will be back.
That's what I heard.
Oh yeah, I've heard the same thing. Nakamura should be returning February 22nd at the UCF TV tapings for NXT. And Tony Nese does have a minor heel injury, but he's not expected out for long. My final piece of news is a very interesting picture that has materialized of a WWE, I guess you would say, a lineup sheet from Raw this past week saying who the road agents for the matches were.
Okay.
So the main event show of Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas had Scott Armstrong as the road agent. Sin Cara and Rusev had Arn Anderson. Michael Hayes produced the Samoa Joe contract signing. Sarah Stock, yes, that's Sarah Stock, produced Bayley versus Nia Jax. Arn Anderson did the Braun. Yeah. Yeah. I knew what that was coming. Arn Anderson produced the Braun versus the World. Tozawa and Gulak was Jamie Noble. Shock surprise. Interestingly enough, the Owens Jericho promo does not have an agent, which means it was just them and Vince.
Yeah, Kevin's that fucking powerful.
Yep.
Kevin.
Mike Rotunda did the Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Good Brothers. Devon Dudley produced the New Day against the Shining Stars. Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho was produced by Dean Malenko. Neville's promo was Jamie Noble, and Neville also did the 6-man. Michael Hayes also did the Roman Joe match, as well as the dark segment with Brock Lesnar and the Big Show. And that's my news.
A lot of people, man. A lot of people involved.
Indeed. Yeah, so that's my news for today.
Who is involved with powering up the batteries for Charlie?
Good
You
God.
know for that?
Oh, boy. Officially announced the Young Bucks will be, this is just breaking news, the Young Bucks will be defending the Ring of Honor tag titles against Lio Rush and Jay White at Manhattan Mayhem on March 4th.
Well, that isn't the show we should be caring about.
Adam Cole versus Bobby Fish, and Will Ospreay versus Dragon Lee have also been announced as well.
If you want to get to interesting shit, I guess I'll have to go through results and upcoming events. So, PCW's weekend last week started off in Blackpool. Show had Kenny Williams beat Jack Barron. Danny Hope beat Big T Justice. Justin Reese returned the PCW World title against T-Bone. Timothy Thatcher beat Martin Kirby. Justice beat Joey Hayes. PJ Black beat Chris Ridgway. And Ashton Smith retained the Cruiserweight title against Bubblegum. Then the following night in Liverpool, Chris Ridgway beat Timothy Thatcher. Ashton Smith beat Joey Hayes. Justin Reese, Jimmy Jeans beat Jack Barron, Philip Michaels, and Dick Justice. T-Bone beat Drew Parker. Kenny Williams. And in the Dino Mark III rematch, Iron Man match, it was the Mark. Okay. So, do Southside Wrestling's free shows. Saturday afternoon, they're Dave. Joseph Connors beat Chris Tyler. Rosemary beat Little Miss Roxy. Dunn beat Colt Cabana. Ethan Page beat choice over Robbie X. Nixon Yorn Brucey Summers versus Kaylee Ray and Alex Windsor ended in a no contest because before the match, Kaylee Ray and Windsor attacked both Nixon and Ruby with weapons and double power bombed Nixon Yorn through a table. HC Dyer beat Andrea Hubba Bubba Lucha of El Ligero and Bubblegum beat Chris Brooks and Travis Banks, the Intercoastal Violence Factory. If you put Intercoastal and make it one, yeah, that's interesting. And then the evening Sucker for Pain show in Nottingham as well. BT Gunn and Steve Xavier beat Chris Brooks and Travis Banks. Melina retained the Queen of Southside title against Casey Owens. Andrew Everett won the 5-way, beating Gabriel Kidd, Ethan Page, Joseph Connors, and Alex Gracie. In the tag title match, new champs, Guilty by Habit of Damian Dunn and Robbie X beat Sticks and Flips of Sticks and Chris Tyler. Worth noting that prior to the match, Big Grizzly was accompanying Guilty by Habit to the ring, attacked Sticks. Sticks was then injured and had to leave, so Tyler had to defend the belts himself. Sticks then returned to get the hot tag, but lost the match and the titles, and his Sticks' last ever match. That's his retirement. Bit awkward. El Ligero retained the Southside Heavyweight title against Eddie Edwards because it went to a no contest. Because Guilty by Habit showed up and attacked both men. Colt Cabana beat Marshall X by submission. And the main event saw Nixon Newell beat Kaylee Ray. But Alex Windsor did get involved. Windsor pushed Nixon off the top rope into a pile of thumbtacks. And then Rosemary made the save, giving Kaylee Ray the mist, and then ran off Windsor. Kaylee Ray hit a gory tom, but Nixon kicked out at 2. And then hit a Welsh Destroyer off a ladder. Off a ladder? What? I misread that. Holy shit. And then Sunday in St. Neots, their Battle of the Ego 7. On this one, Joseph Connors and Paul Malin beat HC Dyer and Adam Maxted. Eddie Edwards beat Big Grizzly. Alex Windsor and Rosemary beat Melina and Ruby Summers. For the speaking title, Bubblegum retained in the 3-way over Chris Tyler and Andrew Everett. Then, Guilty by Habit lost their tag belts to PJ Black and Nixon Newell. Belts all over the place. Colt Cabana beat Alex Gracie with a submission, probably Billy Goat's curse. And El Ligero retained the Southside title against Ethan Page. And sticking with Friday, Rev Pro had a London Cockpit live show. Zach Gibson beat Dan McGee. Rob Lias tried to help McGee, but McGee said he didn't need it. And then afterwards, Lias attacked McGee. Beat Lord Gideon Gray. Hits of James Davis and Rob Lynch beat Josh Wall and Curtis Chapman. Marty Skull beat Luke Phoenix by submission. Ryan Smile got the win over Travis Banks. Afterwards, Chris Brooks came out, and it was then announced that the CCK stable would challenge Redman and Sterling for the British tag titles. Next London Cockpit show. And then we had Dave Mastiff beat Eddie Dennis. For the interim British Cruiserweight title, Josh Bodom beat Oliver Carter to retain that interim title. Afterwards, Bodom got on the mic and said he was the true champ and that Ospreay and his belt were fake and called Shibata a little bitch. Is that a wise thing to do with fucking like Shibata? I think so! Zack Sabre Jr. beat Speedball Mike Bailey in the main event, and afterwards, Sabre wanted the winner of Shibata versus Ospreay at a later day. I have no objection to either of those two. Next to ICW for the Square Go from Newcastle. Bird and Ball beat Polo Promotions to win the tag belts. So we have new champions. Lewis Gold by submission to become number one contender to the Zero G title. Kaylee Ray managed to retain her women's title, beating Casey by pinfall. Kenny Williams beat Ricochet by pinfall as well to retain the Zero G title. And then it finally happened. We have a new ICW World Heavyweight Champion, and it's Trent Seven, bitches. Yes! And then we had the Square Go, which, looking down the list, apparently some guys came in with weapons because Yestin Reese had a leather strap, Crowbar had a kendo stick. There's an irony there. Joe Hendry had a table, Chris Renfrew with a steel chair, and Liam Thompson apparently got taken out by Wolfgang, and Wolfgang came with a kitchen sink. Quite lit. Jati, Grado number 29, Galloway was 28, Wolfgang 27. It was 26 of Joe Coffey that got the win, last eliminating Wolfgang to get a future title shot somewhere down the line. CWF Mid-Atlantic this past Saturday, their Step in the Arena Super Show. We had the RGL champ, Kane Justice, beat Montana Black. In a four-way singles, Patrick Scott beat Cam Carter, Jacob Bryan, and Ian Maxwell. Nick Alexander Sharp, Mecha Mercenary beat Mike Mars. Otto Schwanz and Donnie Dollars with Ethan Sharp beat Jeff Barber and Vinny Senzo and Malachi Matthews and Keith Mack in a three-way tag. Roy Wilkins beat Dirty Daddy. Tahir Jones survived a 30-man battle royal that only lasted about 10 minutes to get a shot at the TV title. Speaking of that, the TV champ Eric Andrews retained, beating Tahir Jones. And then John Schuyler beat Snooty Fox in the main event. And then finally, oh no, I was going to say finally. Shit, I've got a lot more. AAW's End of Innocence from Saturday. Open with a four-way with Eric Cannon beating David Starr, Stephen Wolf, and Marion Fontaine.
Actually,
Carton Barrow got the win over. Yeah?
I already went over those results.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was fixtures.
No. I went over that show.
I was talking about CyberCon. Not Congo Kong. So, yeah, let's get to fucking... I shouldn't swear, but holy shit, it's worth it. So, Shikara had National Pro Wrestling Day, and confusing shit happened on it. I will get to that first, even though you'll wonder why I get to the start / the end / the start. So, we started off with the first of the Young Lion Cups eliminators, which Space Monkey won In the match was also Ashley Vox and Delmi Exo, both of the C Stars, and Murloc. Murloc making his debut, at least from what we saw. This is going to be getting bloody confusing. Eliminated both C Stars, but the Monkey won. Monkey progresses. Then the second eliminator had Everett Connors, Cajun Crawdad, Cornelius Cromwells, and Razorhawk. Connors was taken out first. Then Crawdad was taken out by Hawk, and then Hawk taken out by Cromwells. So Cromwells moves on. Now we've got Travis Huckabee, Sonny Defarge, Travis Flip Gordon, and the Fly Warrior. Travis Huckabee, I believe, is a referee that's now become a wrestler. Whatever. Fly Warrior pinned Travis Flip Gordon, so quite a surprise. I thought he could have gone quite far in the tournament. Fly Warrior then got taken out by Lafarge. And Defarge put the claw hold on Huckabee, but managed to resist, and Huckabee got the upset with a roll-up win. Afterwards, Defarge attacked Huckabee, only to be run off, and Solo Darling congratulated Travis. And the final eliminator had Hermit Crab, Silverhawk, Stephen Mines, and the Whisper. Mines pinned Crab. Then Mines got pinned by Silverhawk. And then Whisper pinned Hawk to go on. So Cromwell, Space Monkey, Huckabee, and Whisper move on to later on. Then we had Race Jackson versus Missile Assault Man. So the last time we saw Race Jackson, he was part of NRG. He was part of a tag team. Now he has new music and bright pink pants / tights. He got the win for that one. Then in the trios contest, we had the Legion of Rot of Hallowicked, Frightmare, and Kobold taking on the Colony. That was interesting. It went to a no contest from what I can tell, because Frightmare choked out Workaround and had to be physically pulled off by the referees. One of the referees ate a spear, but then to make the save came Team C Stars Ophidian and Icarus, who the last time we saw him was evil. Plus, Icarus was wearing Heidi Lovelace's jacket. So already, there's quite a lot of confused people. So then we had Space Monkey versus Cornelius Cromwells in the first of the semi-finals, which, Space Monkey won, but apparently most people didn't give a crap, because that's when they dropped the announcement that King of Trios wasn't going to be in Philly, it was going to be in the UK. So I think Philly was a bit unhappy that they'd have to buy tickets to the UK if they want to see the tournament. Me, I'm fucking loving it, son. And then Whisper beat Huckabee in the other semi-final, apparently after a yo-yo to the crotch. Then we had Chuck Taylor trademark, so basically Stokely, with a new song. Then the Force of Officers Barksdale and Magnum Maloney. Maloney with Officer Magnum. Beat the Closers. So it was a double team and a dog pile. So no dogs were used, though, apparently, noted here. And Sloan Caprice, ended up being handcuffed to the ropes and was left there. Don't know how you work that one out. And then Dasher Hatfield versus Juan Francisco de Coronado, JFC won. So then Ultramantis Black shows up. and reveals that he is grand champion. So again, what's happened? Then we had the final, and holy crap, Space Monkey wins. Space Monkey is Young Lions Cup champion. And then, crap, they announced right at the end that was the start of season 18. And everyone's going, hold on. 2016 was season 16. And 2017 is season 18. What's happened to season 17? Turns out, throughout the winter, they've recorded a crap ton of secret shows, which have formed a part of a secret season that basically nobody knew about. Which would explain, possibly, how they write off Princess Kimberly and Heidi Lovelace. And to some extent, because of the title situation, possibly Mustache Mountain. Because of obviously their deals with WWE. Also worth noting, they will be having an hour of day. The only match announced so far is Mark Angelisetti versus Max Smashmaster. We'll have to see what happens with that. We'll probably cover it next week. So, for the shows, they've got 9 shows as part of this lost season. 3 have been put up, and I've got the results of those 3. So we'll start off with the first one, Tabula Rasa. So we've got Mark Angelisetti back to being himself now, because he's free from the Eye of Tears power. Sat down with Dasha, reconfirmed their bond, but Touchdown doesn't know what happened while he was under evil and is confirmed unhexed, so we'll have to see what happens there. The Closers beat Fire Ant and Silver Ant in the opening match. Then Jeremy Leary, proclaiming he has the best hair in wrestling, picked a fight with Lucas Calhoun, which was an interesting one because they were brawling away like crazy. And both of them pushed down Travis, the ref. So both got Leary then knocked Lucas out with a fist, loaded up with his switchblade comb, and then took some of his hair. But because of that double DQ, both of them lose the points that they may have earned at any point. Hallowicked then claiming that he no longer hears Muldoon, confirms that only he's still loyal to the Lord of Rot, but vows vengeance upon the betrayers. Then Team Sea Stars beat Hip Tots Hank and Benny the Beal. Then Ultramantis remembers everything and singles out Frightmare, saying that he brought him into the world and he will take him out of it. And so Mantis, who I thought I saw in his last ever match because he retired, turns out, nope, because he's back. Hallowicked did show up during the match, apparently, but was run off by an unhexed Icarus. And Ultramantis Black won, so Frightmare loses his points. Then Juan and Wani beat Silverhawk and Nighthawk. Then he lost everything, though Nels Muldoon's Hex didn't quite accomplish that, and plans on taking the Grand Championship from Hallowicked and bringing it home to Touchdown City, because I guess Angelisetti's got 3 points. It takes on Hallowicked, and Hallowicked wins. But Icarus was watching from afar. Show 2, Orientation. Princess Kimberly was in the barbershop asking for highlights. And when asked what's new, she said, a lot. Missile Assault Man beat Hip Toss Hank. Then Princess Kimberly spoke to Solo Darling, giving her advice on how to fight men bigger than herself. So I guess Solo Darling might be becoming Princess Solo. Oh, You see what they did there? Chicago. You heard it here first. The interesting with this one, Solo Darling versus the Proletariat Boar of Moldova. The match got thrown out by Travis. Travis was then visited by the Wrath of Boar, but was saved by Princess Kimberly. Because it was a no contest, everybody keeps their points, so Solo Darling still has 1 point. And then Dasha Hatfield beat Heidi Lovelace in Heidi's last match before she went on to NXT. Then Los Ice Creams on 2 point, taking on Des Peloton. And Des Peloton wins, so Los Ice Creams go back down to 0. Then NRG arguing, Hype saying that he's not on the same page, and Race said that they were. Then Rock Lobster and Ophidian battle to a double countout. They then announced that the Bateria are unhexed because they're taking on Hallowicked and Frightmare. But Hallowicked and Frightmare won. They did get some revenge. Kobold came out to rescue the Bateri, but left before he could actually do anything, and Kodama had to be carried to the back after being hit with a Never Wake Up and is apparently injured. And then Travis, the ref, turned in his ref shirt saying, "I'm ready." Whatever that means. And then left behind, the final of the 3 ones, NRG agreed to work together. Then Ophidian was speaking to somebody not in frame, saying that what happened to them wasn't their fault. Wait. Evie Richards? Who knows? Hermit Crab also on 2 points in singles action. Lost, though, to Officer Warren Barksdale. Basically, because Cajun Crawdad got involved using Barksdale's cuffs as a makeshift set of brass knuckles. So Hermit Crab got DQ'd. And then they chanted apparently at Barksdale that the officer needs backup. So I guess that explains what happened on National Pro Wrestling Day. Kobold's got an identity crisis. So he's unhexed. Kobold then wins against Hip Toss Hank. I think Hank's lost like 4 matches in a row now. Then they recap Amasis unmasking. Then Fire Ant beat Razorhawk. Sonny Defarge versus the Barbershop, requesting to look more dashing. Solo's Darling and Team Sea Stars took on Princess Kimberly and Los Ice Creams. After a distraction, though, by the Whisper, Kimberly was rolled up by Solo. So I don't know whether that's Kimberly's last appearance. I'm not sure. Then Travis Huckabee beat Nighthawk. And the main event saw Crummels and Defarge beat NRG to get 3 points to earn a tag title shot. But yeah, basically during the match, Race bailed midway through the match and Hype got counted out. So they were brawling between one of the Dickensians and Hype afterwards, and then Race returned only to shove part of the set down onto Hype Rockwell and killing NRG off for good. And then afterwards we find out Ophidian, the person he was talking to, was the Mask of Amasis. And then he threw it in a fire. Cue, roundabout music, but we ain't got time. So yeah, Shikara's going to be complicated for a little bit in terms of stuff that's already happened, which we've still yet to find out what happened. Or something. I won't go through everything in detail this weekend entirely. I'll just mention mainly the shows that are going on. So Fight Club Pro, their show on Friday sold out, but it's considering it's titled All the Best. I'm guessing it's probably some of the last time you'll be seeing some of the people like probably Travis and Trent, depending on their demand and whatever. Also, Nixon Newell's going to be on that show as well. But the big thing is April, Easter weekend. So, along with the usual guys like Chris Brooks and Eddie Dennis and all that, think about what, what do you normally have for Easter, Owen?
Nothing really. Eggs. Chocolate.
What the UK is getting is Mandrews, Marty Scurll, Travis Banks, Pete Dunne, Shane Strickland, Pentagon, Phoenix, and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Holy fuck!
Yeah.
That's a beautiful Easter. That's what I'm saying.
Indeed.
Jesus died on the cross for Kenny Omega.
I'd buy that.
Yeah, I 6 stars. Fuck it. Freelance Wrestling have a show this Saturday at the Bottom Lounge in Chicago, Illinois. Doors open at 8 with a bell time of 9. Get more details on Freelance's Facebook page. On the card, I will go on through this one. 6-way scramble with Chris Castro, Kevin Park, Eric Cannon, and JJ Garrett. We've got Space Monkey versus Darren Corbin. Alex Olsen versus Matt Nix. Brubaker taking on Stephen Wolf. Shug D and Matt Cage in a number 1 contenders match for the world title. And then speaking of the titles, the tag belts are on the line. The M-Words defending against the Carnies. And GPA takes on Elias Velasquez for the world title. Vasquez's rematch, or one-on-one rematch, because obviously the last time they faced each other, it was a triple threat with Mustafa Ali. I don't know what happened to him. Oh, wait, I do. And then also this Saturday, the big one, because it's the anniversary weekend for both WSU and CZW. So for WSU, it's their 10th anniversary. Doors open at 3:30 with bell time of 4 at the usual home of the Fly Skate Zone in Voorhees. Tickets start from $20 going up to $30 for the front row if they're still available. Mercedes Martinez will be entering the WSU Hall of Fame on this show. She'll also be in action, but we'll get to that. So we've got Taya Trinidad versus Renee Michelle. Missy Sampson teams up with Bail Spin to take on Annie Social and the Sinister Sweethearts. Leva Bates faces an opponent of Chrissy Rivera's choosing. Jordan Grace, one-on-one with Britt Baker. Jade takes on Lufisto. The Fella Twins issue an open challenge for their tag titles. Sue Young defends her Spirit title in a triple threat against Kira Hogan and Vader Scott. And then the big one, is it going to change? Ali/Cherry Bomb defends against Mercedes Martinez. We shall have. And then later on in the evening, the 18th anniversary for CZW, this year being entitled 18 and Still Like Nothing Else. The doors open at 7, with a bell time of 7:30. This one's tickets are slightly different in price. General admission still $20, but it ranges up to $40 for the front row this time. So a little bit pricier. On this one, Maxwell Jacob Feinstein with Maria Manic makes his in-ring debut. He did put a video up to say that he declared no throwing of toilet paper is allowed in the combat zone anymore. Which I hope he isn't related to the other Feinstein. Because if he is, why would you want to use that name because of all the connotations it has? You know what I mean, though, right, Owen?
Of course I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to make people go, oh, Max Feinstein? He's making his debut? I thought he did all kid.
Oh.
Hey, didn't he got proven guilty on that shit? It's fact.
It's too late. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah. I think it is. He got stung like To Catch a Predator style, didn't he, or something?
That is correct.
By the local press, I remember something like that. So, matches. There's a rematch from the Awakening show with Tony Deppen versus Tim Donst. Mixed tag with Greg Excellent and Chrissy Rivera facing Homicide and Mercedes Martinez. The Chris brothers in action. Jake's taking on Shane Strickland, and Dave faces Ricky. In a title versus title match to the line, WXW WXW Shotgun takes on Matt Riddle, the Progress Atlas champ. And the fans bring the way. Devin Moore and Connor Claxton face Notorious Blood. Matches. Joey Janela defends the Wired belt. Scarlett and Graves defend the tag champs EYFBO. And the interesting one, especially that there's no sign of Matt Tremont on this card yet. Joe Gacy defending the world title against Shigehiro Iri. So I don't know whether that means Iri's going to be in this and then announce his participation in the Tournament of Death. Death. Probably stress it like that or something. And yeah, that's it. Pretty big into account. Obviously, you've got WSU CZW doubleheader on Saturday on iPay-per-view. Technically, I think Freelance Wrestling iPay-per-view to some extent on the Saturday, along with your 2 WWN live shows, plus your New Japan World stuff, plus Sunday's double header of sorts with WCPW on their extra service, and I guess the Fight app, because I think it's on there still, and also that thing that they call the Elimination Chamber. That's only the wrestling stuff, of course. We'll probably build into that when I pass it over to Owen.
Right. So that's your show tonight. Quick programming note: Cinnamon Snack will probably be late tomorrow, but it'll be up as soon as I can because I got to work and I got to watch Lego Batman, so it'll be a long night. Not happy about it, but yeah, it's what happens. This week's all sort of messed up. AJ's movie reviews is going to be late as well. It's still going to be Friday, but it won't be until like probably 9, 10-ish that it gets posted because, once again, I have to wait and watch 2 movies on Friday instead of 1 because of scheduling that we can't control.
Damn you, / John Wick / Batman.
To be honest, I'm extremely bitter about it. Not as much as Tuesday, that's another story. Saturday will be, I guess you're going to have to wait and find out what's going to happen on Saturday, because I do not have anything scheduled for Saturday right now, so something special is coming. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. We'll find out. Sunday versus returns.
Have you done Best Movies yet?
Yeah, it's already out.
Okay.
We don't have anything else to put out on Saturday, so hopefully I can get some sort of content up. I will get something up on Saturday. I have no idea what it's going to be. Sunday's versus Sunday night is also the Elimination Chamber podcast. That's going to be as soon as the pay-per-view's over. And then Monday, the Raw Popcast, 11:15, 11:20-ish, and Wednesday Wrestling Popcast, 9 o'clock next week. Sip and Snack next Thursday. AJ's movie reviews next week will be, trying to remember what actually is coming out next week. I think it's the Great Wall. Great Wall Fist Fight. A couple other things as well. So yeah, that's going to be coming up your way. Did a Great Wall Fist Fight, Cure for Wellness. And of course, Versus is going to be on Sunday. We'll be doing our BAFTA predictions are up currently if you want to check those out for the award show on Sunday. We're going to be doing our Spirit Awards predictions and our final Oscar predictions in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. And once again, I want to thank Jeremy Mills and Logan for joining us in chat tonight. Big shout out to both of them. Shout out to Pedro. Shout out to Acer. links in the description bar for everyone's Twitter handles and Acer's YouTube channel, Acer5000. Follow Acer on Twitter at Acer1337. Yes, in a row for all the podcasts you should be listening to, wrestling and or otherwise. Follow Pedro on Twitter at Evil Takes Root, and follow Logan on Twitter at LoganBurton10. So yeah. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
Find me on Twitter at Ash is my name UK. Gaming with Ash probably has a topic, considering E3 is opening up to the public for the first time, which means there's a lot of good things and bad things to take from it.
All right.
So, I think we can do some analysis. Yes.
Who knows? Maybe that'll be Saturday's video. Guess we'll have to wait and find out. So that's your video for today, and that's your podcast. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Follow me on Twitter at Siro and Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network. Check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network, our Zazzle merch at Popcast Network, and our Patreon at Popcast Network. So as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you have chosen a podcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, go watch La La Land. And that's all we got to say about that.
Also, don't press the unsubscribe button, because apparently everybody's fucked.